don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcasher here with the Man Hour Shorter, manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Of course, check out the blog section as well as we continue our AFC East week breakdown. We've already done the Patriots. We've already done the Buffalo Bills. We've already done the New York Football Jets. But tonight, this afternoon, we got the last team, and that is the Miami Dolphins. And many people predict that the Miami Dolphins will be, quite arguably, the best team in the East. People think that the Miami Dolphins are going to go to the Super Bowl. People think that the Miami Dolphins are going to go 17-0. But guess what? Here at the Man Hour, we are realistic. And I got to tell you guys something. We got another thing coming. Y'all got another thing coming. If you think that the Miami Dolphins are going to go 7-0. We got another thing coming if you think that the Miami Dolphins are going to run the AFC. But before we got into it, we got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John freaking Peoples in the chat. He says, what's up, y'all? Dolphins run the East. They run the East, he says. We will see. We will see. So far, we have two teams that are sitting at 9-8. That is the Buffalo Bills, and that's the New York Football Jets, in my opinion. And we have the New England Patriots sitting at, 6-11. Will the Miami Dolphins run the East? Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. We also got my man Mark in the chat. He says, what up, Buck? What's up, Mark? Hope you're having a grand old day, man. Catch me and this man next week as we talk to Denver Broncos from the NFL Experts podcast. We're going to break it down, yo. And let me tell you one thing, Mark. The Denver Broncos are not winning the West. The Denver Broncos are not going to have a 500 season. The Denver Broncos might have the first overall pick. But hey, it is. Simmer down now, Buck. Simmer down. Save it down next week. Save it down next week, right? Save it down next week. James Chamberlain's in the chat. He says, AFC champs? Of course, he says. Of course. But Super Bowl? Nah. Let's make the playoffs, and then anything can happen. Anything can happen, he says, if we make the playoffs. You're right. Anything can happen. You can be a 7th seed on the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl ring and lose in the first round. But hey, don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Also, John People thinks it's going 11-6. We will see. We'll see. Hart Ford is in the chat. What's up, Hart? He says, no undefeated, but they'll top the East. We will see. We'll see. We'll see. But we will be breaking down the Miami Dolphins for this show. But first, we got a flashback to the 2023 NFL season. The Miami Dolphins had a kind of a roller coaster season, right? They started out hot with the huge win over the Chargers. They beat down a division foe at the Patriots, back-to-back road games, putting a 70-piece on Mark's Denver Broncos. But then the Buffalo Bills, like, bad baby. They come crashing back down to reality. Things are kind of like up and down, teeter-tottering, but they were atop the AFC East all season long. All the way, in fact, until Week 18. And they lost to the Buffalo Bills, and they ended up going from the 2 seed to the 7 seed. Air quotes, it was 6 seed, but it is what it is. This offseason, they had a fairly decent draft. But first of all, let's talk about the offseason. They lost the defensive lineman Wilkins. He said, "See you later, alligator. I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to get those Bills, y'all." So what they do with that? They added Chop Robertson, an edge rusher from Penn State in the first round this season. They added Patrick Paul, some offensive line help. Jalen Wright from the University of Tennessee as a running back. They added another edge rusher from Colorado State. And most importantly, they added OBJ to that already stout wide receiver core. Will this help them? Will they project onto the promised land next season? We will talk about that all show long. But let's welcome Sports Kingdom into the show here. He says, how do you think the Titans are going to be this season? We will be breaking down the AFC South in 2 weeks. But I can tell you, Sports Kingdom, first of all, thank you. I see you guys still got Derrick Henry on your avatar. You should probably change that if you think your Titans are hoping Derrick Henry comes back. But I think the Titans are going to be pretty good. I think the Titans are going to be kind of a shock to the system, to the world. I think whoa, we lost Derrick Henry, but we got hell of a lot better. But we'll be talking about the Tennessee Titans here in about 2 weeks, second week of July, as we continue our breakdown, the dog days of summer here, but we are breaking down each and every team here. And right now we are on the AFC East. Hart Ford, let's get his comment in. He says, O-line needs to stay healthy for the Fins. How about this? The defense needs to stay healthy for the Miami Dolphins. What was it? The last 3 or 4 weeks of the season, they had like 7 defensive ends go down. They just need to stay healthy, period. And I think the Miami Dolphins will be A-okay. But let's start off with breaking down the schedule. And we got a week 1 matchup. Battle of Florida, right off the bat. Highly paid, tied for the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. We got Trevor Lawrence taking on Tua in the Miami Dolphins in the week 1 matchup. It is going to be hot. It's going to be steamy. This is going to be a 1 o'clock game on CBS. This game is going to be for the birds. If I am a Miami Dolphins fan or I'm a Jaguars fan, I am not going to this game. I am sitting inside my nice AC house and I'm watching this game, and I'm going to watch the Miami Dolphins run all over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Week 1, Miami Dolphins are no match for any team out there. Week 1, the Miami Dolphins are going to show why they are a top team in the AFC on paper. The Miami Dolphins are going to show that their offense cannot be stopped in Florida. Week 1, they win this game. It is not even close. It might be a 56-12 score. It is going to be an up and down game, mainly up and down on the Miami Dolphins because their defense is going to be so fresh the whole game, play like 30 plays maybe. Miami Dolphins are going to kill this game 100%. James says, yeah, that turf field in Baltimore destroyed our defense last season. Yeah, it was tough. But week 1, already starting out 1-0, much like last season. Week 2, still at home. Buffalo Bills come down into town. Josh Allen. James, you sent me a message earlier, basically saying that Josh Allen was paid so much money and they haven't done shit. Well, guess what? Josh Allen doesn't do shit again in this game. The Buffalo Bills, our team, week 2. What do we do with our hands, coach? We don't know what to do, coach. We Miami Dolphins run all over the Buffalo Bills week 2. This game is, these games are just getting ugly. Miami Dolphins offense is clicking. Tyreek Hill is eating. OBJ's getting even in the mix. Jalen Waddle is waddling his way down the field. Tua's looking like an MVP candidate. Can anybody stop it at this point? Doesn't look like it. Does not look like it. Week 3. Hey, let's travel across the United States. When I was looking at the schedule, I noticed that the Miami Dolphins travel a lot. Really far. They travel to the West Coast like three times. I think it was. They're going to have a lot of air miles, but guess what? It doesn't matter. They can be in white. They can be in green. They can be in whatever color they want because this first part of the season, they are clicking and they are looking good. They beat the Seahawks down. 3-0 to start the season. 3-0 to start this young NFL season. They are looking unstoppable at this point. They are clicking. The offense is going up and down the field. The defense is shutting people down. And James Simmers says, that's not this time of year. Buffalo can't come to South Beach and win in September. Facts, baby. But then John wants to talk his shit. Says Mother Nature in playoffs freezes the fish. But that's all right. That's all right. Because right now we are in September. It's still 115 degrees outside in Florida. Fish are still swimming free in that nice warm ocean. 3-0. Giving us a week 4 matchup back at home. Right? 3 of the first 4 games are at home. In sunny Florida. Where that sun is beating down on you. Beating down on you. But this is a Monday Night Football game. This is a Monday Night Football game for the Will Levis taking on Tua and the Miami Dolphins. As much as I like the Tennessee Titans so far this season, Miami Dolphins right now are clicking, guys. The Miami Dolphins are 3-0 going into this game. Nothing right now is derailing the Miami Dolphins at all. They are going to walk all over the Tennessee Titans come week 4. They are going to walk all over the Tennessee Titans come week 4. A much improved Tennessee Titans team, but the Dolphins right now are too much for any team to handle. 4-0 going into week 5 on the road, taking on the mighty New England Patriots. The Patriots team that right now is 0-4 at this particular point. They don't know what to do. Are we going to start Jacoby Brissett? Are we going to bring in Drake May? Are we going to call Tom Brady out there at Fox and try to get him to join us? And it continues for the Miami Dolphins. They're now 5-0 on the season. They are going up and down this field unscathed. It's like a varsity team playing a JV team at this particular point. Little to no resistance. They are clicking. People are speaking so highly of them. They're on top of the world. They are clicking, and things are looking very, very nice. Very, 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 very nice. John People says if they played in Florida all season long, they'd go to the show. Not wrong. But this is where the Miami Dolphins season, guys, comes to a fork in the road. Right now, they are 5-0. They are with the Jets and the Miami Dolphins. They're both leading ESPN Sports Center. They're both leading every NFL show out there. Are the 2 Super Bowl teams, or the Super Bowl teams coming from the East is going to be the Jets or the Dolphins. Dolphins are 5-0. Everything's clicking. Everything's happening. Week 6 is the bye week, which sucks for them because they're clicking. They're looking nice. And they go on the road after the bye week, week 7 versus the Indianapolis Colts. This is a stretch of the season that is going to make or break the Miami Dolphins seasons, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This week 7 game and beyond is going to make or break the Miami Dolphins season. Already they are 5-0. They're 5-0. They had the bye week. They're looking fresh. They're looking smooth as silk, right? This is the game that I went back and forth on all day long, all week long. This week 7 game had me thinking, man, first of all, if you have not been to Lucas Oil Stadium here in Indianapolis, Indiana, it is a really, really cool place to play. The crowd is just obnoxiously loud all game long, and the fans aren't really like engaged. It just echoes, and it's nonstop. James thinks it might be the first possible loss right here. And you know what? I agree. I think the first loss of the season comes week 7 for the Miami Dolphins versus the Indianapolis Colts. It's kind of a perfect storm, right? They started off the season 5-0, go into a bye week. People are talking high of them. They're crushing the opponents. They are running up and down the field nonstop. Going to Indianapolis, potentially overlooking the Colts. Oh, Colts, right? Whatever. It's just the Colts. Rookie quarterback. I know he's the second-year quarterback, but rookie quarterback, young head coach. Colts win this game. Colts win this week 7 game. Rob Green is in the chat. He says Dolphins defense was hobbled with injuries after Christmas last year. Hopefully they stay relatively healthy this season. That seems to be a common theme in the comments. Health, health, health. Right now, first loss of the season to the Indianapolis Colts. Giving us a week 8 matchup. Finally back at home, right? This is week 8. This is late October. Could potentially be warm still. Could potentially be a hurricane or a monsoon outside. But it doesn't matter. The Miami Dolphins heard the noise. You guys are just flukes. You guys are just this. You guys are just that. Whatever, right? They step it up, and they beat down the Arizona Cardinals. Many people are kind of thinking Cardinals might be sleepers. Cardinals might be a little bit this, might be a little bit of that. Unfortunately, I'm not sold on the Cardinals as of right now. I've watched a couple of their mini camps and OTAs. Obviously, I'll dive deeper into that once we really start breaking down their schedule. But right now, I'm not impressed with them at all. And I think the Miami Dolphins flex on the Arizona Cardinals, giving them their 6th win of the season. 6-1 now on this young NFL season. Give us a week 9 matchup. This matchup could potentially determine the division. Miami Dolphins going to Buffalo in the first week of November. This is another game that I have circled. This is a stretch of games that I have circled here. From week 9 to week 13, 14-ish. This is the stretch of games that really, really the Miami Dolphins need to focus, right? Week 9 is kind of the dog days of the NFL season if you're an NFL player, right? Hype for us, right? Hype for us fans. Ooh, we finally get in the groove. It's cold outside. We got nothing else bad to do. Let's bring inside, right? The Buffalo Bills beat the Miami Dolphins this week 9 game. I do not have faith in the Miami Dolphins going anywhere on the road from November on and winning a game. I just don't. I don't care if it's to Kansas City. I don't care if it's to LA. I don't care if it's to Buffalo. I do not have faith in the Miami Dolphins on the road from November on. Giving them their 2nd loss of the season. Giving us a week 10 matchup. What did I just say? They're on the road. They're on the road versus the LA Rams. Rams are obviously not going to be as good as last season. If you talk to the experts, right, last season, the Rams were going to be, whatever, they're out of it. They're playing for a first-round pick. Matthew Stafford get traded to Dallas, whatever, right? Rams kind of shocked the world and made the playoffs. With that being said, I think the Rams are going to kind of have that chip on their shoulder this season. I think the Rams are kind of going to step up to these big games here. And the Miami Dolphins is going to be a big game. It is a Monday night game in LA, and I think the Rams step up, and I think to give the Miami Dolphins a second loss in a row in 3 of their last 4. People right now are kind of scratching their heads. Miami Dolphins, what happened? You guys were 5-0. You were flying high. You were 6-1. You were looking okay. Now all of a sudden you lost to the Bills and the Rams? Back-to-back weeks? What is going on? What is going on? Slow it down, baby. Week 11. Let's go back home. I've already told you guys how bad the Raiders are going to be. But do the Raiders upset the Miami Dolphins? Week 11. Does a Week 11 afternoon game in late November get the juices flowing for the Raiders to step up and beat the Miami Dolphins? Do they step up? Paul doesn't like the statement. The Miami Dolphins lay the hammer down on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Miami Dolphins are tired of hearing about that noise. They go from Super Bowl contenders to losing 3 out of the last 4. They're tired of it. They're tired of it. They're going to beat you down, and they are going to beat the living dog crap out of the Las Vegas Raiders. You guys thought the 70-piece last season for the Denver Broncos was rubbing it in? Let's see 80 this season. Hell, let's see 100. I don't care how good you guys think the Las Vegas Raiders defense is. The Miami Dolphins are going to run up and down on this team over and over and over again. And Ron Green agrees. He says Raiders do not stand a chance. Ron, I'm with you on this. Not only do the Raiders not stand a chance, their coach may not even get on the plane on the way home because they got their ass beat so bad in this game. James says no. Raiders are crap. Raiders take Tua out, Wilkins sack. Oh, come on now. Wilkins won't even get off the ball in this game. He was so tired. Oh, it's so hot. I'm so fat and lazy. James says the Raiders game will look like the Broncos game last year. Facts. Preach it, James. Say it louder. The Miami Dolphins may have lost 3 of the last 4, but they're back on track right now. Give us a Week 12 game at home versus potentially Drake May and the New England Patriots. Potentially. I don't have faith in the Miami Dolphins on the road from November on. I've said it once. I'll say it again, and I'm going to stand on it until they prove me otherwise. This New England Patriot game is at home. They win this game. It may not be an 80-point or 70-point outputting, but they complete the sweep and they beat down the New England Patriots. Let's call it 35-14 type of score. It is a comfortable win, but the Dolphins are kind of like, man, we're kind of tired, right? Scoring all these points makes us kind of tired. Give us a Week 13 matchup. This is a game that I have concerns with. On the road, Green Bay Packers, last weekend of November, Sunday night football game, potentially snow, potentially cold, potentially not a good atmosphere for this high-flying offense of the Miami Dolphins. However, I do think the Miami Dolphins play well in this game. I do think the stigma of them not being able to play in the cold, not being able to play on the road in November, December, January, kind of starts to take a back seat a little bit. I still think the Green Bay Packers win this game. I like the Packers. I like them a lot this season. But Green Bay Packers just a little bit better. A little bit better in the outs, the Miami Dolphins. And the Miami Dolphins are kind of on this train again, right? Big wins over the Vegas Raiders and the Patriots, but get kind of humbled, I guess, by the Packers. John thinks the Packers win this game. Ron Green brings up a great point. He says Tua doesn't lose to the Patriots or the Jets ever. He's 11-0. Well, slow it down, baby. Slow it down, because week 14, guess who comes into town? Aaron Rodgers and the New York Football Jets. Week 14 matchup. I think the Miami Dolphins still win this game. They're at home. The Jets are a team that, guys, yes, I did have them going 9-8 last season, or yesterday, right? I just don't think they can compete with the Miami Dolphins at or on the road at Miami. I don't see it happening. So I think that trend continues, Ron. Might as well go ahead and put him at 14-0 right now, right? Wins over the Patriots twice this season. That's 12-13, and another one over the Jets. Make him 14-0 right now versus the Patriots and the Jets. Give us a Week 15 matchup. A potential playoff preview. Miami Dolphins travel to Houston to take on C.J. Stroud and the Texans. This game is another close game. Much like the Packers game, this is a game where the Dolphins look well, right? They look well, but I think a few key mistakes here or there, and the Texans pull it out. I think it's going to be a very fought to the very last second type of score. Let's just say Stephon Diggs scores a game-winning touchdown over a team that he could never beat in Miami, right? Texans win this game. Give us a Week 16 matchup. This is the game that many Miami Dolphins fans probably have circled, to be honest. I kind of wish this game was earlier in the season. This would have been a real true measuring stick for both teams at this particular point, but Week 16, the San Francisco 49ers come across the United States of America to take on the Miami Dolphins. The 49ers are a team, guys, they have a lot of what ifs, right? Meaning, what if Brandon Ayuk isn't on the team moving forward? What if Brock Purdy isn't an MVP level quarterback? What if, right? This game has a lot of question marks on it. If Brandon Ayuk is playing for the San Francisco 49ers this season, in this game, the San Francisco 49ers win. It's going to be a defensive struggle game. I think both of these defenses really step up and look good. But I do think the 49ers come out on top. So right now, guys, we have the Miami Dolphins sitting at 9 wins. Sitting with 9 wins with 2 weeks left in the season. Games versus the Browns, Week 17, and then we got the Jets, Week 18. To solidify the AFC East Championship, all they got to do is win one of these games. Win one of these games versus the Browns or versus the Jets. That gives you 10 wins on the season, and I think that wins the AFC East. Let's go to Week 17 first. Week 17, the Browns. Arguably a top 5 defense in the NFL this season. Going to probably be a top 5 defense. Offense was pretty good last season. Even with the 4th-string quarterback that still made the playoffs. Now, in theory, Deshaun Watson should be playing all 17 games this season. Nick Chubb is back, right? Amari Cooper's playing for that next big contract. I think the Browns are a team you really don't want to mess with, especially late in the season, especially in Cleveland at home, Week 17. I think the Browns win this Week 17 game matchup versus the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins right now sitting at 9-7. traveling to New York, week 18, to take on the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers and the boys. Let's flash back to what Ron Green just said. He said, and I quote, Tua doesn't lose to the Patriots or the Jets ever. Already once this season, the Miami Dolphins have swept the Patriots, 13-0 for Tua. They've already beat the Jets once. Make that 14-0. Can he go 15-0 versus the New York Jets and the New England Patriots? This is the game that it's a flex game. So it's definitely going to be that 1 o'clock game more than likely. We're going to have this this Jets-Dolphins game and Patriots and Bills playing at the same time, more than likely. And I think Tua gets his first loss versus the Patriots or the Jets. I think Tua and the Miami Dolphins go into New York and the cold gets to them. The weather gets to them in this Week 18 matchup. When we look at the first part of their schedule, very, very favorable schedule. Either at home or on the road where it's historically cold and late, so they play them early, right? This game kind of bites them in his ass. These last two games, at Cleveland, at New York in January, or in December going into January, sucks. So I think they do finish the season 9-8. I think Tua and the Miami Dolphins have a very high-powered offense. Their defense is going to be pretty good. Unfortunately, their schedule is not very favorable for them. Unfortunately, they got to play Green Bay at Green Bay. They got to play Houston at Houston. They travel to Indianapolis. They travel to Cleveland. Right? They play a lot of tough games. And I misspoke about week 16. I actually had them beating the San Francisco 49ers. I misspoke on that. My apologies. But let me know what you guys think. Do the Miami Dolphins go 9-8? Are they better or are they worse? John thinks they will be 11-6 this season. John says, didn't someone disagree with Miami in cold weather last season? If you're referring to the playoff game last season, John, when Miami traveled to Kansas City, that was cold that nobody can prepare for. Let's just be flat out honest. That negative 20-degree wind chills or whatever it is, nobody was prepared for that at all. I don't care if you play in Alaska outside. You cannot play. You cannot prepare for that cold at all. I had the Miami Dolphins going 9-8. John sees 11-6. Travelis Tinkers says, shout out from the Bahamas. What up, though? He says, they say Dolphins will win 13 games this season. Let me ask you this, Tinker. Who are the 4 losses then to? Ron says, I got the Miami Dolphins going at 11-6 as well. So many people are thinking repeat of last season. Last season, the Miami Dolphins did go 11-6. 12th win would have got them a second seed. They see 11-6 repeat. Let me ask you guys this question. Who are the 6 losses? Where do we disagree? Is it the Colts? Is it the Bills? Is it the Rams, Texans, Browns, Packers? Where do those 6 losses come from? Because if I would flip any of these games, it would probably be the Colts game. Like I said, that was the game that I've been going back and forth all day, all week long. And I think, let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say they win that Colts game, right? And then they are 6-0. And then they're 7-0. And then they lose to the Bills and Rams again. I think I think if they beat the Colts, they will lose to the Raiders or the Patriots. I think they can only win 2 of those three games. Those 3 games being the Patriots, the Raiders, and the Colts. I think they can only win 2 of those 3 games. Now, if they win all 3, that's 10 wins easy, right? And I think if they get to that 10-win mark, I could see 13 wins. I could see 14 wins. Beating the Jets again, week 18. Let's see here. John thinks the losses will come to the Raiders, Homer, Brown, Texas, Jets twice, and the Pats once. I don't see the Jets stepping up and beating the Dolphins. And he says only with the caveat of only if Aaron Rodgers makes it all season long. I guess maybe I don't know. Tinker says the Buffalo Bills will beat them, the Niners, Texans, and maybe the Rams. Never sleep on the Rams. I believe James said at best you never sleep on the Rams and Sean McVay, right? Never sleep on them. James says the Browns are going to Brown. We win that game. Just like the Jets will Jets. Listen, James, I concur with that. The Browns will Brown, right? Meaning the Browns will somehow find a way to F up that game. Somehow, some way, the Browns will be one of the best teams in the NFL. Have Nick Chubb, top-rated defense, Amari Cooper just going crazy, and somehow they're only going to get 8 wins. It is what it is. Tinker says Jets neither Pats, not beating the Dolphins. I'm not for sure what you're trying to say there, but what up? Ron Green says the Bills twice as losses. So Texas, Packers, 49ers, and Browns, all losses. So you have them going 4-2 in the division, but losing to the Browns, 49ers, Pack, Texans, and Buffalo Bills twice, giving them 11-6 record. John, I believe Tink said it had that 13 wins. Yep. So it'd be 13-4. So that's all I need is four losses, baby. That's all you need. But let's pop it back up there again. I think they're going to go 9-8. I could flip 2 games here. It would be the Colts and then the Jets week 18. That does give them 11. And I would be with you guys on most of them, right? So let me know. Let me know what you guys think. But that is going to be it for today's show, guys. We will be back next week. We'll be back next week, living the dream, talking the AFC West. We'll be playing the movie edition of this AFC East AFC East week here. We'll take all 4 shows, combining them into one for your viewing pleasure because I will be gone tomorrow. Dave Matthews is calling my name, a.k.a. my wife is making me go to Dave Matthews because she loves Dave Matthews. And since she loves Dave Matthews, I love Dave Matthews. And since I love Dave Matthews, you guys got to love Dave Matthews. But we out. And now, Mike's Thoughts. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcuster here with the Man Hour. No special intro today. No special breakdown. No special of Mike's Thoughts. This is live. This is Brawl. This is uncut NFL talk. And I want to jump right into it. And I got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend from the NFL Experts Podcast, my man, Mr. Wayne G. What's up, Wayne?
What's going on? As I say on my show, what is pippity poppity?
What is pickety poppity? What does that even mean?
I don't know. I just started saying it one day and it was fun, so I kept with it.
There you go. You know what? It is what it is. You got to have fun when you do podcasts, when you have shows, when you're out there streaming to the people and dealing with the abstracts of daily life. But tell the people a little bit about your show before you get too carried away.
Yeah, for sure. So the NFL Experts, we are usually on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and it is myself and Mark DiGiacomo. He's my co-host. He's a Broncos fan. I'm a Patriots fan, but we talk all things football, whatever's going on in the news. We've been breaking down the schedules lately, but we did take a couple of weeks off here because, let's be honest, this time of year, not a whole lot going on.
aka the dog days of NFL season. And I agree with you. There's a whole lot not going on, and that's why I'm going through each and every team, breaking them down. And when it came up to time to do the New England Patriots, I'm like, Wayne G is my guy. We are going to have them. And so I want to talk about the Patriots today. The Patriots have kind of had that turbulent offseason, I guess you can say. They new coach, new quarterback, new GM, new outlook on life possibly. What do you think about the offseason moves that the Patriots have had so far this season?
I hate them because the first move we have to talk about is releasing Bill Belichick, or parting ways with Bill Belichick, who I do believe is the best coach in NFL history and still one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the NFL today. I understand things went south with Mac Jones. He didn't get along with Robert Kraft. But that's the biggest offseason move, and I don't think they really signed any big-name free agents. The draft was okay for them. They got a quarterback who's probably not going to play for half the season, so not a lot to be optimistic about.
Yeah, and that's kind of the first question that I want to ask you about is who do you think the starting quarterback is going to be? Is it going to be Jacoby Brissett, or is it going to be Drake May? And I think you already kind of answered that, but dive a little bit more into that.
I think it's going to be Jacoby Brissett, but it could also be Bailey Zappi. I don't want to close the door on him. They have 4 quarterbacks on the roster right now. Joe Milton is going to be on the roster when the season starts. He actually may be a practice squad guy, but he will be on that roster, I think. So I don't think they're going to carry all 4. Bailey Zappi is the one who's on the hottest seat, but I think that he could have a good preseason. And, Jacoby Brissett gets the axe. It's a 1-year deal, not a lot of guaranteed money. So I could see Bailey Zappi winning that, but my heart tells me, or my brain tells me, it's probably going to be Brissett for at least the first 8 games.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the schedule, and the first four games are pretty tough on the old Jacoby Brissett as is. And to be honest, the Patriots' schedule is not very favorable, and that's kind of what I want to jump into right off the bat. Is Week 1. The New England Patriots played Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, and this game I'm kind of like, do they even have a shot? Can the defense hang with the high-flying Bengals offense, or is it just going to be just a complete blowout? What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, it's in Cincinnati, so that gives the edge to Cincinnati. Now, I don't know how long Joe Burrow is going to be healthy for, but we have to assume at least for the first week of the season.
Right.
So I think that it's going to be definitely a win for the Bengals. How big, I'm not sure. I still believe in this Patriots defense. It's a very solid defensive unit. I don't see a lot of teams blowing them out unless they turn the ball over a lot. But with Jacoby Brissett and a run game heavy is what I'm thinking offensive plan, it's probably not going to be a lot of blowouts, but also not a lot of wins for them. So this is a loss I have for them as well.
For the loss for the Patriots, I'm assuming here. But we do got to welcome some people into the chat here. I totally forgot that to welcome people into the chat. I was so excited to talk to you, Wayne. But Mark is in the chat. He says, "What's up, yo guys? What's up, Mark? What's up? We will be talking about the Broncos next week, so be sure to we'll touch bases and we'll get Mark on. But Mark is your co-host there, and he's a Denver Broncos fan, so we got to give him a little bit of slack. But he does say, "Yo, what's up?" Of course, we got my man Jim Powell in the chat and says, "I thought you got arrested at the PGA Tour on Sunday, pulling your best Scotty Scheffler, huh, Mark or Wayne?"
No, I was actually there on Saturday, and I actually missed. Cameron Young shot a 59. It's only the 13th or 14th time in history that's happened, and he was on the 18th. He buried his putt for the 59. We were on the first. So we heard the cheer all the way across the course, but we weren't there to see it.
Yeah, I was here when Scotty got arrested here in Louisville. It was good times. And we got James Frank in the chat as well. What's up, James? It says he will be missed in the land. Says they got the real one in Takaki. Is that how you say?
Takaki.
Yeah. Will you miss him? I don't know.
We have him here now. We'll see how he does.
Yeah, we'll see. Week number 2, back at home for the first game of the season at home, take on the Seattle Seahawks. This is a kind of a game that I've kind of tossed up in the air. Like, I don't know how good the Seahawks are going to be, but I think they can probably pull out this win. But what are your thoughts about this Seahawk game?
I think this is a win for the Patriots, and I'll tell you why. Similar to you, I don't know how I feel about this Seahawks team this season. I know they have a good receiving core. They have a good running back tandem. They usually have a good defense, and they have a defensive-minded head coach. However, I think this is a 4-13 team, and I think one of those 13 losses comes to the Patriots in week 2.
Yeah, the Seahawks are the true wild card because I don't know nothing about their head coach at all. Do you know anything about the Seahawks like head coach at all, just besides his name and kind of his past history? Like, is he a defensive minded head coach? Is he offensive minded like head coach?
He's defensive minded, I believe, and that was surprising because they had a defensive minded coach in Pete Carroll. So similar to the Patriots, where you went from a defensive guy to a defensive guy, they go from a defensive guy to a defensive guy. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, honestly, letting Pete Carroll go was kind of a kind of like why like a head scratching move there. But as we go by week here, week 3, they're back on the road, take on the Jets, a division foe. Is this a potential win?
I have this as a loss for them. I know that I always say the Jets are going to jet, but I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be healthy at this point in the season. I think that the Jets are too good to beat the Patriots. This Patriots team is really bad. I'm going to be saying loss a lot through these 17 games, and this is going to be one of them at New York because I believe this is also a Thursday night game.
Yes.
So right after beating Seattle, short rest, I think they go into New York, they lose.
And to be honest, that might be their best ways to get multiple wins this season is getting a win and then going on that short week so you don't really think about it and kind of build your own hype up. Plus, I don't trust the Jets at all. I mean, yes, they do have Aaron Rodgers and arguably one of the best receivers in the NFL and Garrett, but Jets are, like you said, Jets are going to jet, and they've been 7-10, 7-10, 7-10, and Robert Saleh is on the hot seat, and unfortunately, I think the Jets are really, really overrated, but I'll be breaking them down later. And it's just tough for me to talk well about the Jets. We got CQE Ditz says, "What's up, guys? What's up? What's going on to you, man? What's up, man? As well." Mark says, "I don't trust the Jets either." Let me ask you this question, Wayne G. You are in the New England area, the New York area. Is Robert Saleh on the hot seat?
I think so. I mean, Aaron Rodgers got hurt last year, so they couldn't pin that on him. They couldn't say, well, you had a bad season because they were putting everything on him. Well, now Rodgers is back. He looks like he's going to be healthy. He says he's healthy. And so if he plays the full season and they go 4-13 or they go 7-10, I think Saleh's out. I think if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again, he doesn't get a second free pass. It's basically you have to win, make the playoffs now, or you're gone.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think last year was a pass for them either because you really didn't have Aaron Rodgers all season long. Yes, you can bank on whatever you want, but the truth of the matter is Nathaniel Hackett is a terrible coach and an even worse offensive of coordinator, and it shows that Aaron Rodgers pretty much carried him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Aaron Rodgers was everything, and then it was like, all right, we got Zach Wilson. Let's see what we can do. So I think really a lot of it's going to fall on Breece Hall, him carrying the load for the offense.
Yeah, we'll definitely see about that. Jim Powell says Roger will probably already be out come week 3. I'm not wishing him ill will, but he's old and fragile.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, Tom Brady was old as well. I mean, maybe he's working with Brady's guy.
Yeah,
stretched.
Maybe. And Mark says Aaron Rodgers ditched minicamp to go to Akasawaka, however you say that name. But on the flip side, Mark, he was at every voluntary workout as well. So, I mean, it's not like he skipped all summer. He just missed mandatory camp, right? So,
yeah, he goes on an LSD trip or whatever every year at the start of the season.
Yeah. And you can't argue with the MVP, right? And speaking of MVP, not Brock Purdy, but week 4, the Patriots travel to West to go to California to take on the 49ers. And do the Patriots have a shot in this game?
No, I said they weren't going to get blown out a whole lot, but this will be one of those exceptions. I think the 49ers absolutely just steamrolled this team. I don't think the Patriots can counter that defense. On offense, they don't have enough offensive weapons. And on defense, as good as they are, that offense for San Fran, as long as they keep Ayuk and Samuel, because we'll see what happens there, they're really tough.
Yeah, so you keep referring that they're not going to get blown out. Is it because their defense is that good or their offense is going to be able to keep them in some games?
It's a combination. When you have a defensive-heavy team or a defensive-favored team like Belichick has brought up throughout the years, they usually lean on the running game. The quarterback just has to not make mistakes. You don't need a playmaker at quarterback, just a guy who doesn't make mistakes. And Brissett's totally that guy. They have a decent running game with Ramondre Stevenson. However, I don't think that and I said they're not going to get blown out because they're going to manage the clock. Their defense is great. Their defensive pass rush might be one of the best in the NFL. Their secondary is great. I don't know how they can stop the run. They're going up against Christian McCaffrey here, so I don't think it's going to be a good game for them.
Right. So I spoke earlier about how really tough the Patriots schedule actually is, because if we look at their schedule, week 1 on the road, week 3 on the road, week 4 on the road. So to start the season, the first month of the season, 3 of their four games are on the road, but then week 5 comes and you get a nice little home stretch. You get a whole month at home, starting off week 5, taking on the Miami Dolphins, another division foe. Can the Patriots pull the upset at all?
I don't think so. I have this as a loss as well. I have them basically going 1-5 in the division, but they're going to lose this game to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, this is another game that because of their speed, both at wide receiver, at running back, they could put up 50. We don't know. But it's in New England, so I don't think that's going to be a blowout here, but it will be a loss.
Yeah, this is the one part of the schedule where I'm like, man, they could have pushed this back to December to give the Patriots a shot, right? But it's going to be nice and warm, not going to be cold yet. Might be a perfect 65-degree day up there, and I'm not for sure if the Patriots can hang with the Dolphins. But I'm going to save my picks for to the end of the show here. But there somehow, some way, the Patriots always seem to beat the Miami Dolphins, but that's usually at Miami, right?
Right. Well, so in Miami, the game at Miami is usually later in the season because all the snowbirds up here in New England, they go down to Florida to live for the winter, and they watch that game down there.
So they give us another home game, week 6 matchup when the Houston Texans come into town. Many people are super high on the Texans, and let's not forget, it took a drop pass from the Indianapolis Colts running back to get the Texans into the playoffs, but nonetheless, they are a playoff team. They did go to the divisional round last season. Patriots going to New England. Once again, Texans are maybe a little overrated, but they're still pretty good. Can the Patriots even hang with them in this week?
I don't think so. Again, the Texans were great last year, especially C.J. Stroud, who I think had 28 touchdowns to 4 interceptions or 6 interceptions. Very efficient, very accurate. And then they added Joe Mixon at running back. They added Stephon Diggs at wide receiver. This team got significantly better, and they were already good. So they're going to be really tough. I don't think the Patriots can beat them. Yeah,
and let's not forget that C.J. Stroud didn't throw his first interception until week 12 or 13 or something like that. He's been very efficient on that. On that, give us another home game versus your prototypical built-in-a-lab quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, taking on the New England Patriots here. What do you like about this game?
I like watching Trevor Lawrence throw the football, and I think he's going to do it a lot against this team, and he's going to have success against this team. I think he's worth every single penny that they gave him. I do think he's got the talent to be a top 5 quarterback in the league. I'm not saying he is right now, but this is a game, again, that I think the Patriots just can't keep with that offense. I'm not sure about the Jaguars' defense, so it could be a closer game. But, again, I don't believe in the Patriots' offense either. That their offense is as bad as the Jaguars' defense probably, so it's a wash.
Yeah, and we were talking about the Seahawks earlier about we don't know what they're going to bring, right? And unfortunately, we don't know what the Jaguars are going to bring either because their receiving core took a huge loss this offseason of losing Calvin out there. And I'm not for sure if Trevor Lawrence can get the rest of the guys kind of elevated, right? I think that's the biggest knock on Trevor Lawrence right now is he doesn't elevate the players around him. Can Trevor Lawrence elevate the people around him at all?
I think he can. I think that he doesn't have a ton of talent. He's not Tom Brady, so he's not a guy who's going to go to the Super Bowl with David Givens as your number 1 receiver.
Right.
But he's a guy who has a lot of talent, and if you put even moderate receivers around him, which I think he has, I think he's a guy who's going to be tough to beat. The division he's in is weird. I don't know. Everyone in that division could go 8-9, all 4 teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's going to play out with the Jaguars.
All right, guys. So just to break it down so far, we are talking with my man Wayne G from the NFL Experts Podcast. They air every Wednesday night over here at Facebook and, of course, YouTube.com. Be sure to, guys, give them a like and a follow. Like we were speaking with my man Wayne G. We're breaking down the New England Patriots 2024 NFL schedule. So far, the Patriots are not looking very good. They've had a tough start to the season. Now we're on our 4th home game in a row and a rematch of week 3 taking on the New York Jets, this time at home. Patriots
so
will
at this
win.
point, At this point, they're 1-6, and I think the Jets come to New England, and I think the Jets lose this one. This is the game where I think that at home, this is where the Jets are going to jet. Patriots probably get 4 or 5 sacks, couple interceptions, and they actually finally get their second win of the season to go to 2-6.
So let me ask you this question, because my wife is over here looking at me weird, and she's like, what does it mean when Jets are going to jet? Can you explain to the people that are not really ingrained into the football world like we are, like, what does it mean when Jets are going to jet?
The Jets are going to find a way to lose. They do it all the time, whether it was with Chad Pennington, whether it's with Mark Sanchez. And I know they had the butt fumble game, and they beat the Patriots back when they had Sanchez, but they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. The Jets always figure out a way to lose. No matter what you give them for weapons, quarterbacks, wide receivers, they're going to look really hard. They're going to try to find a way to lose. They'll find it, and they'll put it into play, and they'll lose. That's what the Jets are going to jet me. They're going to figure out a way to lose the game.
Yeah, it just, unfortunately, if basically the Jets have no luck or bad luck. Nothing really ever goes their way. And nothing in my book right now is going the Patriots' way whatsoever. They've had 4 home games, finally get a win, right? But then we just talked about the AFC South and about how every team could be 8-9 at some particular point in this season. But I think the Texans got a hell of a lot better this offseason on both sides of the ball, finally giving the keys of the kingdom to Will Levis, and the Patriots travel to Nashville to take on the Titans. Can they pull out the win?
I say no. And yeah, this team the Titans, they could be unbeatable, or they could be not that good. Well, it all falls on Levis's arm, what he can do. But they gave him the receivers. His receiving room is loaded. They went out and they got Tony Pollard. I know they lost Derrick Henry, but they get Pollard in there, who's a receiving back anyways. So even more receivers. They fixed the left tackle. That was their biggest issue last season. 40% of the sacks they gave up came from left tackle. They got J.C. Latham out of Alabama. So he's well protected. He's got guys he can throw to. Will Levis, like I said, he could be an MVP candidate, or this team could be 4-13, and he's no longer the starter after 2 years.
Yeah, I think the Titans are going to be pretty good. But at the same time, I also think the Patriots are not going to be bad as you or many people out there are going to think. I think the Patriots do pull out a couple wins at some time along the season. They're going to upset somebody. Is it the Titans? I don't know. Like I said, I'll save that till the very end. And that gives a Week 10 matchup. They're back on the road, take on a rookie quarterback this time in the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. Can they beat the rookie quarterback?
They cannot. I mean, when Bill Belichick was there, I think he had a record of like 40-3 or 40-4 against rookie quarterbacks. He's not there anymore. And I know Gerard Mayo is supposed to be mini Belichick, but I think Caleb Williams is a special quarterback. You look at what he has in receivers with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and Romo Dunze, and they went out, they got Swift at running back. That whole team just rebuilt, ready to win right now. I don't think they're going to in that division, but they will against the Patriots, because I don't think the Patriots can stop them. Yeah,
and let's not forget that they added Sweat last year on the trade deadline to boost up that defensive line as well, and the defense is just as potent as the offense could be. I think the Chicago Bears have a bright future ahead of them, but I'm kind of on you with not right now. Slow it down, baby, as the people like to say. But speaking of a team that people are kind of don't know what to do, we've talked about the Titans, we've talked about the Colts, we've talked about the Seahawks. We don't know how good they're going to be, and the LA Rams. This is a team that we don't know how good or how bad they're going to be. Last season, a lot of people slept on them. I were kind of hyped on them. I thought they were going to make the playoffs. They made the playoffs. Lost to Detroit, but they lost a huge part of their defense in Aaron Donald this season, and Matthew Stafford is kind of doing like a passive holdout. He wants some dollar bills, yo. But Week 11, the Rams do come to New England to take on the Patriots.
And what I think will be really interesting for storylines, so if we believe in the scripted NFL, expect this to happen. Jimmy Garoppolo is the backup in LA, so yes, maybe Stafford gets hurt around this time, and then Garoppolo versus the Patriots with the Rams. If you believe in the NFL script, you'll see that happen. I do think Aaron Donald was a huge loss. I mean, it's basically their entire defense was Aaron Donald. Yeah. I think they've got decent receivers. They've got a good running game. Again, if Matthew Stafford stays healthy, that's decent. I think Sean McVay is the best coach in the NFL over Andy Reid. I know as a Chiefs fan, you probably don't like that. But I think that this is a team that's going to beat the Patriots, even with all those question marks.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Jacoby Brissett drafted by the Patriots, 10 years ago, like at this point?
Yeah, well, Brissett was picked in like the 4th round, but Jimmy Garoppolo, was a 2nd-round pick for them.
Yeah.
However, he was supposed to replace Tom Brady, and remember, Belichick wanted to trade Brady and stick with Garoppolo, and
Right.
Kraft said no way.
Yeah. And if you believe in storylines, scripted, this is definitely, I agree with you 100%, but we will see. We will see. Week 12, the Patriots are back on the road. Imagine that. A month gone by, 3 road games, 1 home game. They're back on the road in Miami this time, take on the Dolphins. Can they pull the upset in Miami?
No, they couldn't beat Miami at home. They're not going to beat Miami on the road. I know it's November. It's Florida. It's probably going to be 96, and they're coming from New England where it's probably going to be 46.
Right.
And I think they're just going to be sweating. They're going to be run all over that field. Again, Miami could put up a huge, huge number in this game.
Let's hope it's not 70 like they did against the Broncos last season. But also that kind of kicked off the Broncos season like a little bit too. So maybe this could kick off a winning streak potentially for the New England Patriots traveling to week 13. They're finally back at home, taking on the Colts, another AFC South team. Can they win?
Yeah, so this game's December 1st. It's going to be cold in New England. Indianapolis is an indoor team. They're going to come here. I love Anthony Richardson and what he's doing, but he is essentially a rookie quarterback, only starting like 3 or 4 games last year before he got hurt. So I think that this is a game the Colts lose. The Patriots pick up another win here, I think, against the Colts in the cold weather with Anthony Richardson.
I like the Colts a lot. Actually, I am very fond of the AFC South this year in general, and I think the Patriots kind of got the short end of the stick of having to play that division and the NFC West this season. But that gives us a week 14, and that is their bye week. At this point, Wayne, Patriots are not doing very, very good. And you said at some point Drake May was probably going to get the start. Is this week 14 when they finally pull the trigger and make that quarterback transition, or have they already done that?
I think they could do it here, and it makes sense to do it here to give him some reps. The only thing is that this still isn't an easy stretch, only because you still have at the Bills, and then you're going to have finished the season home to the Bills. That's not going to be good for Drake May. Obviously, at the Cardinals is a great way to start your rookie campaign, get your first start, maybe get a win against the Cardinals. But it is. This is probably where he gets the start, but it's not going to be a great finish for him.
Yeah, so speaking of the Cardinals, week 15, they travel to Arizona fresh off the bye week, taking on a much improved Cardinals team. Many people are hyping the Cardinals up a lot this season with Kyler Murray coming back from his ACL, Marvin Harrison Jr. in the helm. But their defense seems very iffy, right? The rest of the team seems very iffy. Can the Patriots go in there with the potentially Drake May as his first start and get the dub?
They could. I mean, this would be a toss-up. And again, especially with Drake May going in there, if he is the starter at this point, teams don't really have any film on him. It's his debut. They're going to see him for the first time. He's got a great arm. We know that. We know the Patriots receiving room is young, but at this point, they've started to learn the playbook a little bit. So this could be an upset. I have it as a loss, but it could be a win. This will be a close game.
So let me ask you this question. Last season, I thought the Packers were going to be really bad, and then toward the end of the season, they were going to be really, really good because of the young receiver core, basically Jordan Love being a rookie quarterback like at that time, and the head coach finally getting Aaron Rodgers out and kind of being his team. Could we potentially see the Patriots be a really bad team the first month or two of the season, then kind of start to turn it on toward the end because with the rookie quarterback, rookie head coach, etc.?
No, and I do think that Drake May has every bit of the talent that Jordan Love has, but Jordan Love had 3 years with the playbook, and Drake May is going to have 2 months with it. So right. I don't think that he's going to develop as quickly as we saw Jordan Love turn it on second half of the season. You're not going to see that from Drake May. Right,
and also Jordan Love had the opportunity to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for those years as well, learning from one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Give us a week 16. We talked about the Buffalo Bills. They travel to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah, if you want to make $20 an hour, hang around this game because they're probably going to need some people to shovel and snow blow for them. Late December game in Buffalo. It's going to be cold. All those hits are going to hurt 10 times more than they usually do. Yeah. And this is going to be, if this is Drake May's second game, this is going to be his wake up call to the NFL. Welcome to the NFL, rookie.
Yeah. Does it never not snow in Buffalo in late December, feet upon feet of snow? I don't think so. But week 17, finally back at home after this schedule is just so weird. All these road games, all these home games in a row. They felt like they could have mixed them up a little bit better, but finally at home, take on the LA Chargers and Justin Herbert. Does Drake May potentially get a second win?
I think he does, but I really think more this is Herbert losing the game. So I love Herbert's talent, his arm talent. I know he lost Keenan Allen, which is a huge loss. He lost Mike Williams. I think that's a loss. So you've got Quentin Nelson or whatever. Not Quentin Nelson. Quentin Johnson is your best receiver.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love this Chargers team for Jim Harbaugh's first year. Again, another team that could be 8-9, 7-10. I think this is a loss for the Chargers, a win for the Patriots in New England.
Yeah, we talked about overhyped teams, and I think the Chargers are potentially an overhyped team as well. Yes, I do love the addition of Coach Harbaugh back there, but when you lose three big offensive parts of their team, how well can you bounce back from that? Of course, they were always injured, but it is what it is. Giving us the final game of the year at home, take on division rival Buffalo Bills. Game probably doesn't matter much for the Bills at this point, so can the Patriots potentially get the fourth win of the season?
No, I think this is a loss, and I think the game does matter for Buffalo because I actually have Miami winning the division. Okay. And I think that Buffalo is going to need to scrape and claw to try to win the division this year, and they're actually going to end up with a wild card. But they do win this game to end up getting a wild card.
So basically, you had the Patriots being pretty bad this year. What was it, 3-14?
4-13.
4-13. So not a very good record at all. Potentially a top 5 pick. Should be a top 5 pick in this year's draft. Overall, what are your thoughts about the Patriots in 2020 or 2024? Should they basically tank for a top 5 pick, or should they actually go out there and try to execute and potentially be a 6-7 win team?
I would hope that they would go out and try. I don't like the idea of tanking. Obviously, that's something that we say as fans. I don't think players ever go out to lose.
No.
I just don't think that they have the players that can go out and win. I think the coaching staff wants to win. The players want to win. I even think the ownership wants to win. They just don't have the horses. So as hard as they're going to try, and I hope they do, I think it's going to be a bad year for them. And the only thing I can hope is that a lot of these young guys, particularly on defense and offense, I guess, I hope that they don't get discouraged by a 4-13 season and they feel encouraged going into next year. But it's going to be a rough year.
So what are the holes on the Patriots team that like you see, like, you know, like say if they added this piece or this piece, it could possibly turn a 3-win team into a 6-win team or a 7-win team. Like, what is that glaring weakness in the team?
Yeah, so their defense alone, to me, is a 9-10 win team if you have the right offense. But the problem is, one, they don't have a quarterback. They've got a journeyman quarterback who's a game manager. They've got a rookie who doesn't know the playbook. Their best wide receiver is Kendrick Bourne, a guy who couldn't have gotten another contract if he wanted to, and they gave him this huge extension. He's their best receiver. They've got a bunch of rookie receivers. Their offensive line is riddled. I mean, they've got Mike Onwenu playing right tackle, and I think their left tackle right now is Chukwuma Okafor. I mean, I don't know how good he is, but this offensive line, as bad as I think Mac Jones was last year, he was set up for failure. He was getting buried every single time he stepped back. So it's going to be a similar situation this year.
So you brought up receiver, and there's a receiver out there that is unhappy with his current situation. And you said Kendrick Bourne got a massive deal. This receiver that I'm speaking about is Brandon Ayuk. This guy, I think, is a very good talent out there. I think he is the actual centerpiece of the San Francisco 49ers wide receiver core. He is kind of one that makes everything click, right? Because he's able to pull that defender over and not have to double team Debo and not keep 8 guys in the box over and over and over. So as a Patriots fan, as a Patriots, you know, like they are your team, would you make a play for Brandon Ayuk if you could?
I wouldn't. If I was going to make a play for any receiver, it would be T. Higgins in Cincinnati because he also wants out.
Right.
And he hasn't signed that or the franchise tag, right?
He did sign it last week.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's a guy that I think that I would rather get because you get him for cheaper. He's a little bit longer. I don't love Ayuk, and actually, I'll tell you something. I don't like the whole receiver market right now. I mean, the internet market, we watched that. The internet bubble burst. The running back bubble in the NFL burst with Ezekiel Elliott signing that big deal.
Right.
Now we're seeing Justin Jefferson get $35 million. Tyreek Hill wants 35 million. Brandon Ayuk wants 30 million. The wide receiver bubble is going to burst, and teams are going to start favoring draft picks in the second, third, fourth round, just like they do with running backs now with the receiver position, because they're not going to want to pay that kind of money.
So I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I actually just was on a discussion earlier, and I believe it was you a couple years ago saying that the quarterback should have their own salary cap. Now that is starting to gain traction a little bit in the mainstream media per se. I believe it was the Pat McAfee show was talking about it. So basically what they're trying to do is make a quarterback, max salary cap, whatever. They get their own cash, and then the 52 other guys have the rest of the $250 million to play with. So if that were to happen, let's just play devil's advocate, that does happen. Does that help a team like the Patriots, or does it help a team like the Chiefs and the 49ers just get richer and richer and richer?
Teams that draft well and sign well get richer and richer. Teams that don't will have poorer and poorer. I don't love the idea of a salary cap just for quarterbacks. Honestly, I think it's one big salary cap. You have to manage it as an adult, as a general manager.
Right.
It would be almost like me spending too much money on junk food, and I go to Congress. I'm like, can you pass a law putting a limit on how much I can spend on junk food? No, I just need to be better at it. And the owners need to be better at signing players.
So maybe I think it was Brandon Combs that actually said that. But of course, we know Beastie and his knowledge out there is just kind of lackluster at best, right? No, I'm joking here. But then I actually had a conversation today on the internet when I thought I was having a conversation, but apparently people think I was attacking them. But I said, why not have a max contract like the NBA does? So basically, like, a team can't throw billions upon billions of dollars at one player. That changes the whole landscape. They have a max contract, max years, and it favors players to stay with said team. Do you think something like that would ever happen in the NFL?
It would be a really tough thing to get the players union to agree to that, because the players union agreed to the rookie salary cap when rookies were signing for $40 and $50 million.
Yep.
The union agreed to that because they said all that money is going to go to our veterans. Now you want to take money away from the veterans? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So you don't think there's ever going to be a max contract or a max contract ever?
It could be used as a negotiating chip. Like if the players say, hey, listen, we'll agree to a max contract thing if we don't have to play 18 games. Let's just keep it at 17. And the NFL's done that for the last couple of years. They've wanted to go to 18, and they've held something else over the players union head to keep them, happy. So I think that could be a bargaining chip, but otherwise there's no reason for me to think that the NFL players union would want to cap salaries at all.
Yeah, and then so that's my last question for you that I have is the 18-game season. I spoke on it a little bit last week, and I said, like, at what point do we get too many NFL games? Is it the 18 games? Is it 19 games? Is it 20 games? Are you favor for an 18-game NFL season? And what is the limit of how many games you think the NFL will have in a season?
I mean, I think they could go to 18. I really wouldn't want to play more than that because you're getting rid of the preseason, so they don't have that time to warm up. And I know some people think the preseason doesn't matter, but I think it does in terms of getting in shape. It gives you that extra month to get into game shape. And I think that matters. So you're getting rid of the preseason. You now have 18 games. Then you have playoffs. It really becomes a war of attrition. I understand that the NFL wants to make money and more games equals more money. Yeah. But here's an idea. The NFL should partner with the UFL and say, listen, you're going to be our minor leagues so that our stars don't have to play 25 game seasons and get hurt every other game. We're going to send all of our young guys down to you, but you're an NFL affiliate now. So people are going to watch your games knowing that you're NFL, affiliated. And so that's a way that the NFL could make more money. But continuing to add NFL games, I think you're only asking your big stars to get hurt. And now you're paying them 60, 70 million a year and they're getting hurt because you have so many games. Something's got to give. So
let me be devil's advocate at this point. Yes, the NFL will make more money in the end, but also a NFL player has to play at least 4 years in the NFL to get a retirement and health insurance after they leave the game. So this might be a ploy for the NFL in the back of their head. Hey, we play 18 games. That's 2 more than the previous seasons, right? And now players are playing less because they get hurt. That extra game on the field, they get hurt. They don't want to play no more. They don't want to do the wear and tear on their knees and their heads so people are retiring after 2 years, after 3 years, so they don't have to worry about that retirement and health insurance after players leave. Do you think that is something that they might be thinking of in a roundabout, narcissistic way?
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of things they have to think about too. And I'm thinking again, as the players union, as they start to extend these games, we know that players had a lot of tread on them, quote unquote, when they played 16 game seasons and they would play for 4 years with that fifth year team option in their rookie year. By the time they hit free agency, they've got 250,000 miles on the tires, right? So they've got to, if they're going to extend the season, so now you've got 4 years of control plus a fifth year team option, and they have to play 18 games. I guarantee you the players union is going to push for a 3 year with a fourth year team option instead to lower that contract so you become a free agent faster since you're playing more games.
Yeah, and that would be a devil's advocate, right? So, I mean, because sometimes players are crappy the first 3 years of their NFL life, and then the fourth year they blow up. And so it is a double-edged sword no matter what you think about it at the end of the day. But let me ask a question. At what point are too many NFL regular season games too many?
I think anything over 18. I don't think you can get to 20. 20 is way too much.
Yeah.
So 18 is where I would cap it.
I mean, obviously, I don't think this would ever happen, but would they ever go back to 16 games season?
I could see them going back to 16 game seasons, especially, again, it's a negotiation, so the players union would have to agree to take less. Right now, I think they get 53% or 54% of revenue. I think if they said, hey, we'll take 48% of revenue if you guys take away a game, I think the NFL would do that. But then it's a question of who wants to give up money, the owners or the players. Somebody's got to give up money in order for that to work.
Well, and to be honest, the owners are maybe making that extra game every other year, right? Because there's 9 home games, and then next year you'll have 8. And the Jacksonville Jaguars stands to they only get 6 home games because they're playing everything overseas. So I feel at some point it has to go up or down. I don't think 17 will last very long, unfortunately. And it hurts my brain. I hate doing 3-14, 14-3. Like, give me an 8-8, give me 9-9, give me an even number. Damn it. But Mark says you guys will be discussing that on July 3rd show, so be sure to check out NFL Expert Guys coming up July 3rd. But Wayne, thank you for thanks for joining me. Tell the people about your show and where they can find you before we let you go.
Absolutely. Check NFL Experts. We are on Facebook, although right now Facebook's giving us a hard time about streaming live, so you can check us out on YouTube and Twitter live, and we do rebroadcast, or we share the broadcast, as well as Spotify. If you want to listen instead of watch, you can do that, but we do have some cool graphics and things, and you can participate during the live show. But yeah, NFL Experts, Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern time.
So let me ask you this question. Why is Facebook giving you shit?
They say we don't have enough followers to have a live show.
Well, damn it, people, go over there and like the show. I'll drop the link on the page, and let's get you however many likes you guys want over there. Or what you probably need 50 or something, like how many more?
I think 100. Yeah.
So let's get him 100 likes, guys. So we got my man. Oh, sorry, Wayne. Thank you for joining us, man. And we'll definitely catch you next time. All right.
See ya.
All right, guys. So that was Wayne G with the NFL Experts Podcast. We got my man WB Ant in the chat. What is up, Ant? What is up? What is up? What is up? Hope you're having a grand old day, man. It's a long time no see. We'll be talking about your Ravens here pretty darn soon. Let me fix this and go back to what I know and love. Why is it so loud? There he goes. All right. So, and we'll be talking about your Ravens here in about 2 weeks. This week we're talking AFC East. Next week we're doing AFC West. And then the following week we'll be doing AFC North. Said nothing, man. Unfortunately, work been busy. Listen, man, I feel you. Work is busy. Summer is busy for me as well. Football starts back up. Football practice, work, yada, yada, yada. But, guys, we have been going through the New England Patriots. Wayne thinks we're going to go 3-14 this season, and I think the Patriots are going to do a little bit better. I think the Patriots are not going to be as bad as people think. I think the Patriots are a team that is, I mean, obviously they are not going to go to the Super Bowl, I feel. They're probably not going to go to the playoffs. They're probably not even going to be battling for a division, but I think they get six wins this season. I think week two they beat the Seahawks. Like we were saying earlier, we are really confused of the Seahawks. What are the Seahawks going to bring? What are the Seahawks like this season? There's a lot of what ifs with the Seahawks right now. And I think that week 2 matchup, when the Seahawks come to New England, I think they get that dub. But then losses versus the Jets, losses versus the 49ers, losses to the Dolphins, losses to the Texans, and then week 7. Week 7, I think they make that quarterback change. Week 7, I think Gerard Mayo is going to be, you know what, Jacoby Brissett, you are just not it. Right? You are just not it. You are, at this point, you are 1-5 as a starter. Yes, I know you played the Bengals. Yes, I know you played the Jets defense, which is a great defense. Yes, you play the top 49ers team, the Miami Dolphins potentially to be really, really good. The Texans should be good as well. But things are just not clicking for you, right? Things are just not clicking. Let's bring in Drake May. Insert Drake May. I think they beat the Jaguars that week 7. I don't have faith in Jaguars whatsoever. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. I don't like what they've done on the offense. The Jaguars, I think, are going to be a 7-win team this season. I think they get the second win of the season versus the Jaguars. Then the momentum starts to build up. And as Wayne G likes to say, the Jets will jet. This week 8 game, the Jets will jet. They will lose this game in a 2-game winning streak for the Patriots. Look out, guys. Look out, look out, look out. Then they travel to Nashville. They lose to a good Titans team, a really much improved Titans team, and they're back on the road versus the Bears, and now all of a sudden they got 3 out of 4 wins. Things are clicking. Things are looking pretty good, right? But play a Rams team at home. Rams are going to be a lot worse this season. I don't think they're even a playoff team without Aaron Donald, but I think they lose that. They lose to Miami at Miami. The Colts come to New England. I think they lose that game as well. So as fast as the Drake May hype started, 3-4, lost 3 in a row going into the bye week. The Patriots fans are grumbling. They're upset. They're like, what do we do with our hands? We're so mad at life right now. And then they come back. They go to Arizona. They whoop that ass. Then they go to Buffalo, get that ass whooped. And then they finish out the season 2 more wins over the Chargers and the Buffalo Bills. And I think they finished 6-11 this season. I don't think they're a playoff team. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team. I don't think they're really going to, compete in these losses. I think they're going to get blown out several times this season. But when they do win, it's going to be a lot of their defense. They do have a really, really good defense in the end. And I think a Week 18 matchup over the Buffalo Bills, it's because the Buffalo Bills already have their spot locked up. Whether it's the division win or they already have a wild card seed locked up. The reason why the Patriots win that Week 18 game is because the Bills are playing. Who's their backup quarterback? Mitchell Trubisky still. Like, God, I don't even know who their backup quarterback is anymore in Buffalo. Let me look that up just because I'm curious now because we are talking about Buffalo Bills tomorrow. Mitchell Trubisky is still the backup there. So. It is what it is. But I do think they go 6-7. So let me answer some of these comments here. Ant says the heat is crazy. It is crazy, man. I went back home to Kansas over the weekend, and it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning, and I already have sweat running down my butt cracks, like 85 degrees. I'm like, come on, Kansas, do better. Ant says the Seahawks need to draft a quarterback next season. Many people thought they were going to draft a quarterback this season, right? I don't think the Geno Smith project is quite done in Seattle. I don't think the Geno Smith experiment project, whatever you want to call it, is done. I mean, he was drafted in 2013, so he's been 11 years in the league. So he's probably 34, 33 years old, right? But let's not forget, though, the Seahawks did pick up Sam Howell this offseason, right? They traded for him. So they kind of already got that replacement potentially in place. And they still have XFL quarterback PJ Walker, which got picked up by the Panthers, been kind of floating around a little bit. So I would be curious to see, once Geno Smith does ride off into the sunset, whether he is pushed out, whether he is, asked to leave or whatever, right? I think Sam Howell could be a good replacement. I think, because watching Sam Howell film from the Commanders a couple years ago, right? Or last year, I should say, Geno Smith and Sam kind of had that same path. And I think a good mentor like Geno Smith could get Sam Howell over the edge. So I'd be kind of curious about that. And Ben Swanson says, play Fortnite. Ben, I have actually never played Fortnite. Never played Fortnite. I can download it for you. We can play some Fortnite. James Chambers in the chat. What's up, James? He says, if the Jets stay healthy, the Patriots go 0-6 in the division. So, James, my man Wayne G was just on earlier from the NFL Experts podcast. If you guys haven't done so, be sure to go over there and give that a like and like a follow. Allow them to go live. Wayne G puts in a lot of effort and stuff that he does. He has some of the best graphics out there, and he does a lot of work, does a lot of good work. But he said the Jets are going to jet at some point in the season. And I have to agree with him. I think the Jets are going to jet versus the Patriots at some point this season. Whether it's week 3 game and then week 8, right? Yeah, week 3 and week 8 they play. At some point, the Jets are going to jet. Whether it be week 3, whether it be 8, whatever it is, at some point they're going to jet themselves. And with Robert Saleh being on the hot seat that he is right now, let's just be honest, if Robert Saleh is not on the hot seat, no coach in the NFL should be on the hot seat whatsoever. But I think Robert Saleh is going to buttholes and be puckered a lot this season. Every game when the Jets walk out there and Aaron Rodgers gets sacked, his butthole is going to pucker. Because Robert Saleh and the whole Jets organization is based off of 35-year-old plus players. And the Jets' schedule is not easy, right? They play the 49ers, Titans, Patriots, Broncos, Vikings, Bills, Steelers, all in the first 7 weeks of the season. Yes, it's the Broncos. Yes, it's the Patriots. But got to travel to London, right, to play the Vikings. Or not, is it London? I don't even know where they're playing. Somewhere over there. The health of the Jets is very, very key. The defense should be good, but I'm just worried about Robert Saleh's ability to coach. Honestly, I'm worried about his ability to coach. Is he really a good head coach? I mean, I know he was a good defensive coach in 49ers, right? Obviously. Notify me about what? When we talk to Jets? WB Ant come out here with the smoke today. This man's out here in the heat, busting his nuts, and he's bringing that smoke, making it even hotter in here. He says the Bills may miss the playoffs. Don't be surprised. We've been talking about what if teams, kind of like head scratching teams like the Seahawks, like the Titans, like the Colts. The Rams. Really don't know what we're going to get out of them, right? The Buffalo Bills pretty much scratched their whole receiver core. Gabe Davis, get out of town. Stephon Diggs, get out of town, right? Hell, their whole secondary, get out of town. The Buffalo Bills is practically a brand new team with a veteran quarterback and some receivers that many people have not heard of, right? When you look at their receiver core, I think Dawson Knox is really the only guy that I can be like, hey, that's right? Both of their tight ends are pretty good. And the Shakir guy, he was the rookie from last season, right? But other than that, you got MVS, which was cut by the Chiefs, didn't do shit in Kansas City, but besides drop balls. You got Chase Claypool, Is it going to be Chase Claypool of his rookie year with the Steelers, or is it going to be the Bears or the Miami Dolphins Chase Claypool that forgets his gloves or his pants or something, right? And then Keenan Coleman potentially could be a really good receiver, but once again, a rookie, you don't know what he's going to get. So I really feel like the Buffalo Bills are going to rely a lot on James Cook. I think he's still running against the Dallas Cowboys untouched still, right? From December, still rolling it down. But if the Buffalo Bills miss the playoffs, it won't be because of their offense. It'll be because of their defense. I'm more worried about their defense. All those new names on the defense has me worried about the Buffalo Bills, but I don't think they'll miss the playoffs. We'll be breaking down the Buffalo Bills tomorrow, so guys, tune into that. 2:30 East Coast time right here at Facebook.com, of course, YouTube.com. And if you want to listen to it on podcast forms, always on Spotify. But Ant says Colts are my dark horse in that last seed. Listen, I don't want to give too much away from the AFC South when we talk about them toward the middle of July here. But spoiler alert, I think the Colts are going to be a really, really good team. I think the Texans are going to take a step back. I think the Jaguars are terrible. Titans are much improved. And the Colts we finally get to see them potentially be a division winner like I thought they were going to be the last couple seasons, right? We will see. We will see. We'll see. John Peoples is saying, I'm hearing Dak to Seattle. Listen, Dak Prescott is a top 10, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Dak Prescott is a really good talent. Dak Prescott is not the reason why the Dallas Cowboys got blown out versus the Green Bay Packers. Dak Prescott's not the reason why the Buffalo Bills blew them out. The last 3 years, the Dallas Cowboys have not had the problem with Dak Prescott. It's been, let's just be honest, the head coach of the Washington Commanders. His defense shit the bed in the big games. Even back when he was a coach at Atlanta, shit the bed during big games. That's just his MO. But Dak to Seattle would be a very, very good piece, right? Dak to anywhere. Dak to your Las Vegas Raiders, John, would be excellent. Dak to the Rams would be even better, right? Yes, I know they got Jimmy G if he ever comes back from steroid use, but pretty much Dak anywhere makes a lot of sense. I think Dak could fit almost in any system in the NFL and be successful. Oh. James says the AFC will be super tight this season. The Bills will want to win that last game for playoff positioning. We will see. We will break it down. We got all month is AFC talk, guys. All month is AFC talk. All this week is AFC East. So tomorrow we'll do the Buffalo Bills. Wednesday we got the Jets, and Thursday we're doing the Dolphins. Dolphins. James says the notifying me to get the 1 year following man hour badge. Let's go. You've been following me for a year? Hell yeah, James. Click that badge, brother. Represent. Represent. Come on, man. James says if Dak leaves Dallas, he's going to the Raiders. I mean, obviously the Raiders want to win now, right? They want to win now. They have Adrian O'Connell. They have not Mitchell Trubisky. Garner Minshew, right? I don't think either one of those quarterbacks are good enough to get them 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins this season. I actually have them going 4-13 this season. People are pissed about that. You want to piss off some Raiders fans, tell them they're getting 4 wins this season. You get death threats non-stop. But it is tough. It is tough. And John says the Colts are a 500 team. Keep whack Dak for the Vegas Raiders. I just the roster that the Colts have established, right? If old Anthony Richardson is healthy all season long, plays all 17 games, I don't see them as a 500 team at all. Jonathan Taylor finally is back healthy, it seems like, right? Michael Pittman Jr. is the man, the myth, the legend. They still got Alec Pierce. I love that guy. Love that guy. He's a dog. And the defense just always seems to be really, really good. DeForest Buckner's still there, right? You got EJ Speed, Nick Cross in the safety. I like it. Hell no, give me Jimmy G before that. Listen, I think Jimmy G would have been successful for the Raiders if you guys would have given him a freaking fair chance, little cheaters. WBN says, if Dak does get traded, do y'all think they will replace him with Trey Lance? Listen, the Dallas Cowboys are in a position right now to basically not be able to afford their stars, right? They already had to release, they let Michael Gallup go, which he is a part of the Raiders now, right? CeeDee Lamb's going to be up for a deal here soon, or he's up for a deal now, right? Micah Parsons is up for a deal. Trayvon Diggs is going to be up for a deal, right? The offensive line, they keep paying them, those old guys. I think Trey Lance was a good trade. What, they got a 5th round pick for him, 4th round pick for a number 3 overall pick in Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance has the potential to be a good quarterback in the NFL, but I don't think it's with the Cowboys. I think if the Dallas Cowboys, if we're not wishing injury on anybody, but if Dak Prescott happens to go down, right, or if they're 5-win team this season going into week 12 and beyond, I think then we see Trey Lance, because I think he's on the final year of his deal as well. You see Trey Lance, and they're simply using him to get trade bait to bring a quarterback in. I gotta know. I have not watched any Dallas Cowboys minicamp or OTAs yet. I've been trying to catch up on my other, on my AFC teams here, so we can logically talk about them moving forward. But if Trey Lance hasn't improved from last year going into this season, he is definitely not going to be the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback. And no starting quarterback should ever wear 19. Just come on, you're better than that, dog. But back to the Patriots. I had them going 6-11. 6-11 this season, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. I will post this image up on our Facebook page about 4 o'clock-ish once the show is over. So let me know your thoughts. Let's have a healthy discussion about that. And brings up a great point here. Aiden Mitchell, Pittman, Pierce, Jalen Woods with AR and JT. The Colts do have a nice young core. I wouldn't put JT as a young, but they do have a very, very nice core there in Indianapolis. Plus, Steichen, right? I like him. I think Steichen is a really, really good coach. And let's not forget, guys, if was it Trey Sermon that dropped that pass? I think it was Trey Sherman dropped the pass. And if he would have caught that pass, the Indianapolis Colts would have been in the playoffs last season with a backup quarterback, without JT, without Michael Pittman Jr., right? If he would have caught that pass versus the Houston Texans would have been out, Colts would have been in. What would have happened then, right? People need to stop sleeping on the Colts. They're a good team. Finished second in the AFC South last season because of a drop pass. Just be honest. But guys, this is Man Hour NFL Talk every Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. East Coast time to 4 o'clock p.m. East Coast time, give or take a couple minutes. Members only stream for the first 30 minutes of the show. Live show starts at 2:30, and we go until we tired. or until 4 o'clock, or until when my wife says, speed it up. But catch you guys next time. We out. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckeyes here with the Man Hour. Somebody have manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page, or check out the blog section as well. But if you are listening to us right here, right now, right here at manhourradio.com, facebook.com/Man Hour, of course, youtube.com/Man Hour NFL Talk. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and share us with a couple friends, because sharing is caring at the end of the day. And welcome to AFC East Week, guys, right here at Man Hour, the dog day of summer, June 25th, 2024, 2:30 right here on the East Coast time. And we're going to be talking about the mighty Buffalo Bills today. We're going to be talking about my man Carson Lang's Buffalo Bills, my man Alpha Rob's Buffalo Bills. We already talked about the New England Patriots earlier this week, and many people are way down on the New England Patriots. Me, I'm kind of up on them. Have them going, 6-11 this season? Not too terrible, but not too great either. But in the end, it is time to talk some Buffalo Bills. Some Buffalo Bills, yo. But before we get too carried away, if you have not become a Pigskin Pundit yet, please become a Pigskin Pundit. Click on the subscribe button below. For $4.99 a month, you get some free merch. You get some hoodies, get some t-shirts. You got some hats on like on the way as well. But most importantly, starting July, you get a pre-show. Every day at 2 p.m. East Coast time, you get a pre-show. Whether it be us just shooting the shit, whether it just be us talking about something else besides football, join the live show. It's good times. Also, if you are a Pigskin Pundit, you get free entry. That's right, free FREE into our $100 weekly pick'em once the NFL season officially starts. So become a Pigskin Pundit. You get access to the pick'ems. You get access to some NFL games. But most importantly, you get some free merch and access to the members only stream. So with that being said, guys, let's talk some Buffalo Bills. Let's talk about how the Buffalo Bills kind of have not been up to snub as of late. Yes, last year they did get hot late in the season. Yes, last year they end up making the playoffs. Yes, last year they did finish the season 11-6, but let's look back about week 5. Week 5. They travel over the season. They play the Jacksonville Jaguars. They lose that game. Then they lose to the Patriots, and then lose to the Bengals, and then lose to the Broncos, and then lose to the Eagles. And we everything thought the world was coming to an end. A bye week came. Offensive coordinator was out. Insert Joe Brady. Bada bing, bada boom. They rattled off wins over the Chiefs at Kansas City. Rattled a win off for the Dallas Cowboys. James Cook is still running on the Dallas Cowboys. Went to Los Angeles, beat the Chargers, beat the Patriots, and beat Miami in Miami to win that division, giving them a wild card opponent at home versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then they played the divisional championship game at home versus Kansas City Chiefs and ultimately lost that game. So after a rough start of the 2023 NFL season, out goes the offensive coordinator. In comes a new one. Rattle off some wins, make it into the playoffs. Not only make it to the playoffs, beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on a Monday night in the wild card in the playoffs, and everything's looking up, everything's looking dandy. And the hell, they even battled the Kansas City Chiefs, the back-to-back Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, to a 27-24 loss. But this offseason has kind of been really kind of crazy for the Buffalo Bills, right? They said, let's blow everything up. Let's blow everything up. Stephon Diggs, see you in Houston, my man. We don't want you. We don't need you. Don't call us. We'll call you. Just kidding. My phone number got changed. Gabe Davis, he gone. Whole secondary, pretty much corners, safeties, free safeties, y'all gone. We don't want you no more. Pretty much the only thing they cut was their rookie, Shakir, from last year, James Cook, Josh Allen. Of course, you still got Ed Oliver, AJ Espinina, which is amazing player. Everybody else pretty much new on the Buffalo Bills. Let's just be flat out honest. Everybody knew on the Buffalo, pretty much everybody knew is on the Buffalo Bills, like at this particular point. So before we get Carson in here on the phone to talk some Buffalo Bills, let's pull up some chats. Let's welcome to James Chamberlain into the chat. He says McDermott is on the hot seat up there this year. And I concur with that 150%, James. 150%, I concur that Sean McDermott is on the hot seat. Not because the Buffalo Bills are not a good team, because they have such a good team that they should be in the AFC Championship game year after year after year. They should be competing for championships, not getting hot at the right time and sneaking into the playoffs. I said sneak in, but yes, they were a second seed. They did rattle off 5 wins in a row and had to win that Week 18 game versus the Miami Dolphins to really solidify that second seed. But let's just be honest. Once they get to the playoffs, they don't do shit. It is what it is. They don't do shit once they get to the playoffs. I don't care what you have to say about it. They don't do shit. So, James, you are absolutely correct. I wish I could bring your comment up. For some reason, guys, the comments are not popping up on my screen, but I got them pulled up. Mark Lewis is in the chat as well. Looks like he's a Chiefs fan. What's up, Mark? Fellow Kansas City Chiefs fan myself here. He says, who are the Buffalo Bills? Do they still have a team? Listen, Mark, I want you to stick around, because when I pick our games, or not our games, but when I pick the Buffalo Bills games, I believe it was week 12 when they play the Kansas City Chiefs, I want you to sit back and I want you to listen to my pick for this game. I want you to listen to my pick for this game. I am a Chiefs fan. Let's put it out there. Mark, you are a Chiefs fan, and not to spoil anything, but we may not be happy. We may not be happy. For some reason, the Kansas City Chiefs cannot beat the Buffalo Bills in the regular season. Playoffs, different story. Give me Josh Allen like in the playoffs any day of the week, twice on Sunday, right? But regular season, Mark is in the chat as well from the NFL Experts Podcast. Go over there and give them a shout out, guys. Wednesday, July 3rd, we'll be talking to Mark about the Denver Broncos, about how bad they are. But he says, what's up, Buck? Mark, what's going on, man? Hope you're having a grand day, man. I enjoy interacting with you guys here in the chat. And Mark, I look forward to having you on here. James, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you a Miami Dolphins fan? I need somebody to talk to Miami Dolphins with me on Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday. Tomorrow or Thursday, right? I think you're a Miami Dolphins fan, James. If you are, hit me up. Let's get on the phone. Let's talk some of your offseason. Let's talk about those offseason moves that the Miami Dolphins made. But speaking of offseason moves, the Buffalo Bills. Let me propose this question for you guys. Stephon Diggs, we kind of all thought was a cancer, right? We all kind of thought he was on his way out after the look he gave Josh Allen after that playoff loss versus the Kansas City Chiefs, yet again. But when you lose Gabe Davis and you bring in Chase Claypool, you bring in NVS, you have a second-year receiver that you're going to be your number one guy. Your number two guy is going to be Keenan Coleman. We don't know what he's going to do in the NFL yet. And then your number three, number four receiver are going to be Curtis Samuel, right? He is, quote, the vet on the team, 27 years old. Second-round pick from Carolina from 2017. When you look at this receiver room for the Buffalo Bills, guys, are you impressed with them at all? Are you scared of them at all? It might even say the kid's name right, Shakar. He had a hell of a season last year. I will give him that. He kind of came off the map and kind of exploded. Right, when he had 611 yards, 2 touchdowns, a nice 81-yard touchdown. I do remember that one. 39 catches, but in the playoffs, he had 10 catches, 75 yards for 2 touchdowns. Kind of started to come into his own toward the end of the year. But now he isn't the third receiver. He is the guy. Let's just be honest. He is the guy in Buffalo. So let me ask you guys this question. Do the Buffalo Bills receiver core, have they gotten better this offseason? Minus Gabe Davis, minus Stephon Diggs, insert draft pick Keenan Coleman, insert MVS, insert Chase Claypool. Are they better at all? Let's ask that question. Are they better? Let's have a conversation about it. Are they better? I don't see it. I don't see any way, shape, or form that they are better at all. I don't think they even have an opportunity to be better than what they were last season. I'm going to open the floor up to you guys. Do you think they got better? Got my man WB Ant in the chat as well. What's up, WB Ant? My man was complaining about the heat yesterday. It's even hotter today. At least here in Louisville, Kentucky, it's 95 degrees right now, per what my computer says. Hopefully, you're all staying out there, Ant. James Chamberlain says, yes, Dolphins land for life. Timing to do that will be a challenge. James, hit my inbox, and we'll discuss of what we can do. Speaking of pigskin punters, my man John Peebles is in the chat. He's a CFO of the Pigskin Punt. He says, what up, all? What up, though? What up, though, as they say in Detroit. What up, though? WBN says, Curtis Samuels is decent, but like you said, nobody is scared of that wide receiver core. Nobody in the NFC should be scared of that wide receiver core, and I think right now, nobody is scared of that wide receiver core for the Buffalo Bills. I don't think anybody in their right mind is legitimately scared of the Buffalo Bills receiver core. Now, on the flip side of that, they do have potential, right? The Buffalo Bills receiver core does have a lot of potential. But are we basing their season off of potential? Are we basing the Buffalo Bills off of hope and dreams? Are we basing off Keenan Coleman isn't going to be a bust? Are we banking on that Chase Claypool could return back to his rookie form? Are we hoping that MVS can catch a damn ball? I know in Kansas City we hope he could catch a damn ball, but guess what? He doesn't. He doesn't like catching the ball no more. He's scared of it. You think Patrick Mahomes threw the ball hard? Josh Allen throws it twice as hard, twice as further. He puts it in your chest and you'll feel it the next day. Maybe that's what MVS needs. Passively, Patrick Mahomes like, oh, I guess I got to throw it a little softer, huh? Go throw a little softer. But I think you're right. I don't think nobody is scared of that receiver core, and John Peoples agrees with me. He says nope. Nobody is scared of that receiver core. Nobody. With that being said, let's look at the schedule. Let's look at the schedule moving forward. I don't have any fancy edits today. Work caught up to me, and unfortunately, I didn't have time to do it. I apologize. I know I've kind of prided myself of doing some good quality graphics, but today we're just a little bit MIA on that. A little MIA. Week number 1, though. They're taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Buffalo Bills taking on the Arizona Cardinals, and I think that is a dub. I think the Buffalo Bills, week 1, they come out firing. Everything's clicking. Everything's looking good. Everything's looking hunky-dory. They're running the ball. They're looking nice and young. And bada bing, bada boom, they get that dub opening week. Opening week. What do you guys think? Can the Arizona Cardinals pull off anything this season at all? Can they be any good at all? I just don't see it. Just don't see it, unfortunately, for them at all. Next up, we have a week 2 matchup. Traveling down to Miami, Florida on a Thursday night football game, September 12th on Prime Video. This game is going to be hot. It is going to be humid. It's going to be high scoring, and the Buffalo Bills cannot keep up. The Buffalo Bills, I don't think they can keep up in this game at all. I'm not saying that they may not have a high-flying offense, but first part of the season, they're going to highly rely on the running game like they did most of the second part of the season. And James Cook may get 100 yards, may get 150 yards, but guess what? The Miami Dolphins play really well at home. The Miami Dolphins play really well in the regular season. The Miami Dolphins play really, really well the first half of the season. In week 2, the Buffalo Bills take the first loss of the season to the Miami Dolphins. WBN says, my only knock on Coleman is that he's not that fast, and he's a little bit slow on his release. He is elite and good DBs will be able to contain him. I have got an opportunity to watch some mini camp footage of Keenan Coleman, and he does look a little sluggish out there. He does look like a step slower than the rest of the bunch, right? He does. But, hear me out. If he happens to drop down to a third receiver, he's going to have the third best slot corner on him. He's going to have a linebacker on him. He's going to have some opportunities. Jim Powell is in the chat. What's up, Jim? He's a pigskin pundit as well. He says nothing about the Buffalo Bills screams quality. Buffalo Bills are just kind of meh, he says. Kind of John says they will finish ahead of the Cowboys. And me and James are on the same page here. Week 2, Buffalo Bills will be 1-1. I like it. Week 3. Play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Back at Buffalo. This is a Monday Night Football game. So back-to-back primetime games coming off a mini bye week. Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't have any faith in them. I don't have any faith in Jacksonville Jaguars whatsoever. I know my man Wayne G praised Trevor Lawrence yesterday. I know that he's fun to watch and worth every penny. Well, guess what? Trevor Lawrence is not worth every penny. Trevor Lawrence is boring to watch, and he is going to be a bust of the quarterback after this season, and the Buffalo Bills defense is going to walk all over the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football. I don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars have a chance in this game. Moving the Buffalo Bills to 2-1 on the season. People are satisfied, but yet questioning their ability going into week 4. And when they start to question the ability of the Buffalo Bills, it gets in Josh Allen's head. When the team starts to questioning themselves, Sean McDermott starts questioning him like himself. And I think slowly but surely the wheels start to fall off of the Buffalo Bills coming week 4. Week 4, they travel to the Baltimore Ravens. This is another primetime game. Sunday Night Football. Let's flash back. 3 primetime games in a row. Thursday, Monday, Sunday. Buffalo Bills kind of got exposed versus the Miami Dolphins. The Jaguars just really couldn't execute that blueprint that is out there, but the Baltimore Ravens can. Baltimore Ravens, top 5 defense in the NFL, top 10 offense in the NFL. They're going to be another really, really good team, another good regular season for the Baltimore Ravens, and this win really solidifies them as a top dog in the NFC. Baltimore Ravens beat down the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. It might be a 70-piece. Lamar Jackson might be sitting down about halftime. But then we're like, slow it down, baby. Week 5 doesn't get much better. Finally not a primetime game, but they're traveling down to Houston, taking on the Texans, and that is another loss. Another loss. We now have 2 losses in a row, and the Buffalo Bills are now sitting at 2-3, they're back at home. No, I lied. They are traveling to New York to take on the New York Football Jets on yet another prime time game. So far in this young NFL season, the Buffalo Bills have had 4 primetime games and 2 non-primetime games. In all of these primetime games, what have we got a common theme so far? They are losing these primetime games. They are not stepping up to the spotlight. The receiver core is getting exposed. The secondary is getting exposed. Josh Allen might be doing his thing, might be slinging it all over the field, scrambling, running for his life, but that's not the MO of the Buffalo Bills and how they win. They lose to the New York Jets on Monday Night Football. Right now we have 3 losses in a row. Lost 4 of their last 5 at this particular point. Losses to the Miami, losses to Baltimore, Houston, and the Jets. And we finally into late to mid-October. Back home, taking on the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans. This is the Tennessee Titans team that I'm a little bit worried about. If I'm anybody in the AFC South or the AFC in general, I'm a little bit worried about this Tennessee Titans team. Also worried about the Colts, but this Tennessee Titans team, many people are sleeping on them. Oh, that's an easy win. Will Levis as a quarterback, rookie head coach, Derrick Henry's gone. Well, guess what? The Buffalo Bills get beat by the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans run all over the Buffalo Bills. Literally run. Tony Pollard probably gets 150 yards in this game. We now have 4 straight losses at this particular point. 5 of their last 6 are losses. At this time last season, we're kind of in that same boat, right? What do we do with our hands? The sky is falling. But slow it down, baby. Slow it down. The Buffalo Bills, they know how to win. They know how to get back to their roots. They know that to win in the AFC, like they did last season, 5 straight games to end the season, they need to run the ball. And that's exactly what they do come week 8 versus the Seattle Seahawks. They travel to Seattle. The dome's probably going to be closed because it's going to be raining. But they're going to literally run all over the Seattle Seahawks. James Cooks is going to look like he looked like when he played the Dallas Cowboys last season. That's a win. Then they're back at home, month of November. Miami Dolphins come back into town, and that is a win as well. Sorry, James. Miami is not sweeping the Buffalo Bills this season. They are splitting yet again. 2 wins in a row for the New England Patriots at this point. Come week 10, traveling to the Indianapolis Colts, a Colts team that's a really, really good Colts team as well. Buffalo Bills have learned not to mess around with the AFC South. F around and you'll find out, right? They already lost to the Texans. They already lost to the Titans. They're not going to make it 3. No. They beat the Colts. 3 wins in a row. Everything's getting back on track. Everything is looking good. Then you welcome the Kansas City Chiefs into town. Sunday afternoon game, probably going to be the America's game of the week, right? The Kansas City Chiefs come into town, and for whatever reason, the Kansas City Chiefs cannot beat the Buffalo Bills in the regular season, and that trend continues. That trend continues. We now have 4 wins in a row at this particular point. Wins over the Seahawks, the Dolphins, the Colts, and the Chiefs going into their bye week. Whew, let's take a break, right? Let's breathe a little bit. They say. We had 4 losses in a row to the Ravens, Texans, Jets, and Titans. 4 wins in a row over the Seahawks, Dolphins, Colts, and Chiefs going into the bye week. Playing reigning NFC champions coming off the bye week. And that's the San Francisco 49ers. This is another primetime game. Sunday Night Football. Buffalo Bills versus the San Francisco 49ers. This is at home. And guess what? It is another win. Now the Buffalo Bills have now beaten the Seahawks, the Dolphins, the Colts, the Chiefs, and the 49ers all in a row, giving them 5 straight wins in a row. Everybody's hyped. Everybody's like, yeah, boy, look at us. Slow it down, baby. Every time the Buffalo Bills start to get a little bit cocky, things start to fall off. They travel to LA, lose to the Rams. Travel to Detroit, lose to the Detroit Lions. Back at home versus the Patriots, they beat the Patriots, they beat the Jets, and week 18, they lose to the Patriots the final week of the season. Final week of the season, they do lose to the Patriots. Letting them finish 9-8 on the season. I think the Buffalo Bills will finish 9-8 on this season. Yes, I know I forgot to change the Buffalo names at the top. When I post this at 3:30 here, I will change it. But 9-8 for the Buffalo Bills this season. What do you guys think? Do you concur? Am I way off? Am I spot on? What are your thoughts, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Henry will run for $120 versus the Buffalo Bills, says Ant. Listen, Derrick Henry is going to have some pretty good games this season. Pretty good games they're going to have. He may not last all season long. He's old. Week 4 is still pretty young. The Diggs revenge game, says James. Oh, the Houston Texans for the Buffalo Bills, week 5. Yeah, I bet you Stephon Diggs says, I want 20 touches that game. When we look at week 5, I bet you the ball is going to Stephon Diggs a lot. A lot. Ant says, remember, I told you all yesterday I would not be surprised if they missed the playoffs. The Super Bowl window is officially closed for the Buffalo Bills. Is 9-8 good enough to make the playoffs in the AFC? If we were to talk about that last year, the answer to that question is no. It was not good enough to make the playoffs last season. There were several 9-8 teams last season that missed the playoffs. Jacksonville Jaguars. Indianapolis Colts. Right? So, to really solidify their playoff opportunities, I think 10 wins is a must. And when I look at their losses, they have losses versus the Miami Dolphins, Ravens, Texans, Jets, Titans, Rams, Lions, and Patriots. Where could they potentially get that one extra win? Where could they potentially get that 10th win? And the only thing that I could possibly change here and I would be comfortable with is that week 18 game versus the Patriots, right? Because we said it yesterday, the Patriots are not going to be a very good team. 6-11. I think Wayne G had them at 3-14, right? That week 18, they're going to be playing for much of nothing but a first overall pick, more than likely. Are they going to play people? More than likely not. So that win could come in and get their 10th win and really boast them into the playoffs. But at the same time, spoiler alert, right? Let's play spoiler. The Patriots want to play spoiler in that game. I could see it. But with that being said, guys, 9-8. What do you guys think? Let me know. Until then, we out. Hey guys, it's Gay. We're going to talk a little bit about New York Jets. Continue our AFC East talk through this week of June. Last week of June. June 26th right here on the East Coast time. 2:30 East Coast time, I should say. June 26th. And it is time to talk a little bit about the New York Football Jets. The New York Football Jets are a team that has kind of been a bust the last couple years. Let's just be honest. They have not been very good the last couple seasons. 2023, they went out and got Aaron Rodgers. They thought, hey, we're going to make that splash. Aaron Rodgers goes down, third play of the season, gets sacked. Insert Zach Wilson. Insert a win over the Buffalo Bills come week 1, but the wheels kind of fell off week 2, week 3, week 4. And then week 5 through 7, they kind of got on the track. And then the wheels fell off. Zach Wilson was benched. Insert Boyle. Insert Trevor Siemian. Insert we don't know what to do our hands. Another 7-10 in season for the New York Jets in 2023. Much like what I predicted. The last 2 seasons, the New York Jets have been 7-10. Much like I have predicted. So with that being said, the New York Jets finally go into 2024. They have dressed the offensive line, pick up some key free agents. Their first overall pick in the draft was offensive line as well. Aaron Rodgers is back. Breece Hall is officially 100% back. Should be back all season long. They still got that stout defense. But what can 2024 really truly bring for the New York Football Jets? Can we really expect them to make a playoff? Can we really expect them to be in competition for the AFC East Championship? What can we truly expect from the New York Football Jets? And I'm going to tell you right here, we're going to break down all 17 games this season. We've done everything is for the AFC East so far, and it is time to jump on to the New York Football Jets. Week number one. First things first, guys, we get a lot of prime time games for the New York Jets. This first half of the season, what we see them on prime time, 1, 2, 3. We got 4 times going into week 9, plus the game overseas, so basically 7 times. We got a lot of prime time games for the New York Jets. We're going to get to see them a lot. And week number 1, Monday Night Football. New York Jets travel to Super Bowl runner-up, yet again, the San Francisco 49ers. This is a game that I don't know what to expect. Obviously, I think the San Francisco 49ers are probably going to continue the momentum that they built the last couple seasons. Brock Purdy is a second year going into a starter. This is his third year as the NFL, but second year as a true starter here in the NFL, and we are kind of like, hey, is it time to put up or shut up now for Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers? Obviously, Brandon Ayuk wants that contract. There's a lot of controversy happening over there in San Francisco, but I don't see the Jets any way, shape, or form pulling out this win. I do not see the New York Jets being any good at all in this game. I think the San Francisco 49ers come out and they pretty much blow them out. And say, what's up? Glad you made the trip, but it's time for you to go home. Monday Night Football is going to be a wash for the Jets this season. Get out of town. Take that L with you. Jumping into week number 2. Back on the road again. Not a primetime game, but they travel to the Tennessee Titans. Aaron Rodgers taking on Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans. We've been talking about the Tennessee Titans a lot. They've had a really good offseason. Will Levis is their guy. Added a running back, Tony Pollard. Picked up L'Jarius Sneed from the Kansas City Chiefs on the defense. Offense got better with adding Calvin Ridley. The Titans are a team that I don't think many people are anticipating they're going to be very good. Let's just be honest. I don't think many people are overlooking the Titans. And the Jets are a team that you can say really can't afford to overlook anybody, but I think they're going to overlook the Titans, unfortunately, and they're going to lose. Second game of the season. They're 0-2 all ready to start this season. Ouch. Aaron Rodgers' epic return to 2024 NFL season, just not looking good. 0-2 so far. And the Jets are just not looking good. Just not looking like a very good team. Week 3, first home game of the young NFL season. This is a Amazon Prime game, so Thursday night game. Patriots coming to town. A Patriots team that we just broke down, Monday. We didn't think they were going to be very good. But I think this is going to be a pretty good matchup. I think this is going to be a matchup of two winless teams, I should say. And I think the Jets come out on top in this game first. I think the Jets come out in like a 17-14, 17-10 type of score. It is going to be a kind of a low-scoring, ugly, sluggish game, right? But the Jets do get their first win of the season at home, giving us a Week 4 matchup. The Denver Broncos. I kind of have this game highlighted a little bit. I have this game highlighted just a tad bit. Why do you ask? Well, Zach Wilson is no longer a part of the New York Football Jets. He was traded. What team was he traded to? The Denver Broncos. What do the Denver Broncos have that Many teams don't. They don't have a quarterback. Denver Broncos right now, their starting quarterback is Jarrett Stidham. Yes, they did draft Bo Nix, and Zach Wilson is currently listed as third on the roster. But it would not surprise me one bit if come week 4, Jarrett Stidham is benched. Bo Nix isn't quite ready yet. We all know how Sean Payton likes rookie quarterbacks. He doesn't. We could see Zach Wilson versus Aaron Rodgers come week 4. But I think the Jets pull it out. I think the Jets are now on a 2-game winning streak. They are now 2-2 on this young season. Speaking of young, John Peoples in the chat. He says, "What's up?" What's up, John? Welcome to Over the Hill Hoodish. Casey Morgan's also in the chat. He has a 3 by his name. Is that a 3-year anniversary follower? Casey, you've been there for a minute, haven't you? He says, "I'm not liking needing Netflix to watch some games this coming season. So many streaming services spreading it out." Casey, I agree with you 100%. We talked about the NFL Sunday Ticket and how it's kind of like overpriced, and kind of how I'm kind of pissed off about it. Like, why do I want to spend $400 on NFL Sunday Ticket when I still got to buy Netflix? I still got to buy Paramount. I still got to buy freaking Amazon Prime. Plus YouTube TV, because you can't watch but not football games either. I feel your pain. Feel your pain. Jets are 2-2 on this young season, 2-game winning streak. Insert week 5. Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings travel to New York to take on his former team. Yes, I know he was a 49er, and I know he was a Panther, but he was a Jet at some point. Sam Darnold might have a chip on his shoulder going into this game. Sam Darnold might be a little bit of, hey, let's sling the ball over. Let's get these guys. Come on. It doesn't help. The Minnesota Vikings are going to be a bad, bad team. I don't care if they got JJ. I don't care if they got that other receiver that they got. His name's still in my mind right now. I don't care if they have Tom freaking Brady, right? Patrick Mahomes. The Vikings are a bad team, poorly coached, bad organization. Worse off than the Jets. But the Jets win this game, giving them their 3rd win of the season. After starting out 0-2 losses to the Titans and the 49ers, all of a sudden, people are talking about the Jets. People are talking about the New York Football Jets. 3 wins in a row, going into a Week 6 matchup at home. They're all month home, right? 4 home games in a row. Taking on the division opponent, the Buffalo Bills. What's up, Mark? The Buffalo Bills come into New York. At this time, the Buffalo Bills are kind of on a skid right now, right? We talked about this yesterday. About week 4 through week 7, the Buffalo Bills are going to kind of lose their way. They're kind of be like, we don't know what to do. The chirping in the Buffalo Bills land for Sean McDermott's head is going to get really, really loud when they go into New York week 6 and they lose to Aaron Rodgers and to the New York Jets. The chirping is going to be really, really loud. People will be like, the Jets are the real deal, baby. The Jets are the real deal. They got wins over the Buffalo Bills at this point, the Minnesota Vikings, the Denver Broncos, the New England Patriots. 4 wins in a row. Aaron Rodgers is looking like an MVP. The defense is playing lights out. Garrett Wilson and those boys are shining the way they could. And Breece Hall is still running on the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, I know he didn't play the Dallas Cowboys. They don't play the Cowboys this year. But it's, you know what I'm talking about. 4 games in a row, they have talked, or they have won. 4 games in a row, the Jets are kicking ass. But slow it down, baby. Slow it down, baby. My man Wayne G from the NFL Experts podcast, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. He said it the best. He said at some point in the season, the Jets will jet. The Jets will jet. But before we get too carried away in that, Mark's got this question. He says, everybody's sleeping on Zach Wilson. He has the most starts as a quarterback and has a better arm than all three of those guys. I bet he starts this season and plays against the Jets. We'll be talking about Zach Wilson and the Denver Broncos next Wednesday with my man Mark from the NFL Experts Podcast. But back to the New York Jets. We've seen them clicking. We see them on a 4-game winning streak. We see them sky high. They are leading Get Up in the Morning. They're leading First Take. They're leading the Good Morning Football. We are talking about the New York Football Jets right now. But week 7, as like my 5th favorite band ever says, Smash Mouth, things come crashing back down to reality. And the New York Jets fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers team is way too much for the New York Football Jets at this particular point. Too much to handle. Pittsburgh Steelers are probably going to win the AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be a really, really good Super Bowl competitive team. And they lose this week 7 game. The Jets' 4-game winning streak shot out the window. They get spanked by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bad baby, bad baby, bad baby. Casey Morgan asks, is Aaron Rodgers even fully healed? I believe he is fully healed. If the Jets were in a playoff position last season, he would have played last December. I've seen him at mini camps. I've seen him at OTAs. He looks pretty good. He kind of looks younger, honestly. Maybe those LSD trips are doing the thing. And then John wants to make this bold statement. The Jets will be 3rd in their division. We'll find out Friday where they land, John. We'll find out Friday. Mark says Wilson is going to give Tomlin his first losing season. Mark, we talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll cover them even more in depth in 3 weeks, right, when we do the AFC North. Here's the great thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Russell Wilson just has to not suck. If Russell Wilson just does not suck, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win that division. They have the best team on paper. Top 2, top 3 defense. Great running back in Najee Harris. Great offensive line. Pretty good receiver core. And then John wants to say the Jets defense is better. What? Casey says Steelers defense is going to be a force. I agree. The Jets defense will smother the sequels. Okay. Let's say the Jets defense does shut down the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is going to shut down the Jets offense. And I have more faith in the Pittsburgh Steelers offense than the New York Jets offense. Steelers win this game. Steelers win this game. Give us a week 8 matchup. A rematch from week 3 already. Knocking out the Patriots twice, right? They've already beat the Patriots once this season, kind of giving them that momentum into that 4-game winning streak. Insert week 8. The Jets travel to New England. Travel to Foxborough, Massachusetts to take on Jacoby Brissett and the New England Patriots. Or is it going to be Drake May? The Patriots are going to be a struggling team, right? We are going to see a lot of good and a lot of bad from the New England Patriots. Fortunately, if you are a Patriots fan, I think the Patriots beat the New York Jets week 3 or week 8. The Jets are now on a 2-game skid yet again, right? We started the season with losses for the 49ers and the Titans. Week 7 was a loss versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they're losing to the New England Patriots. After the Jets were sky high, leading Sports Center, leading the NFL channel, leading our show, leading the NFL expert show, leading all the shows across the world, the Jets are Super Bowl bound, Super Bowl bound, Super Bowl bound. They've now lost 2 games in a row. They have now lost 2 games in a row. They've been smacked in the mouth, and they're like, we don't know what to do with our hands. We don't know what to do with our hands anymore. Man, we could really use a bye week right now. Guess what? Bye week isn't for another 4 weeks. Another 4 weeks is not a bye week. But right now, the Jets are 4-4. They are 500 going into week 9, into the second part of the season. Kind of right where they want to be, right? Nice little middle of the road team. It is what it is. But James, welcome to chat. He says, Russ will be a lot better in Pittsburgh than he was in Denver the last 2 seasons. I agree. I concur with that. Casey Morgan says the Pats are the dark horse this season. We shall see. We shall see. And John says the Patriots suck 3-15. I think he means 3-14. He's got those sausage fingers. Right? We only play 17 games right now. We don't be playing no 18 games yet. And Sweet Carolina's in the chat. What's up, Chair Caroline? She got a 1 by her name. She must be a year follower. Welcome, Caroline. Welcome to the show. Long time no see. So 4-4 going into week 9. Back at home. Taking on the Houston Texans. A Houston Texans team that many people are super high on. A Houston Texans teams that people are like, CJ Stroud, MVP, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. Who can stop them? They got Daniil Hunter. They got this, right? Well, guess what? There's a such thing as called a sophomore slump in the NFL. There's a such thing as called when you go from a 4th place schedule to a 1st place schedule, you may not be as good as people think you are. However, I think this Week 9 game is going to be must-see TV. I think this Week 9 game, Houston Texans taking on the old mighty New York Football Jets, is going to be must-see TV. I do think the Jets play very, very well in this game. I do also think that the Houston Texans play very well in this game. This is yet another primetime game. And I think the lights are shining just a little bit too bright on the Houston Texans at this particular part of the season, and I think the Jets squeak out the win. Let's say 27-26. It is going to be a last-second field goal, a last-second interception. It is going to come down to the final play of the game. I think the Jets get this win over the Houston Texans come Week 9. Give us a Week 10 matchup. Back on the road. Back on the road, the Jets travel way out west to take on the Arizona Cardinals. This is another 4 o'clock game. This is semi-de facto primetime game, right? There's not a whole lot of 4:25 games happening week 8 through 12. But the Cardinals are a team that I am very intrigued about. As I prep for show, guys, I watch minicamp, I watch OTAs, I watch full from start to finish of several mini camps for these players. And the Arizona Cardinals might shock some teams this season, but they're not going to shock the Jets come Week 10. The Jets are finally back on track. The Jets are finally back on track, looking like that Super Bowl caliber team like they were just a few weeks ago. They now have 2 wins in a row over the Texans and the Cardinals, giving them a Week 11 matchup back at home, taking on the mighty, mighty Indianapolis Colts. This Colts team is going to shock a lot of people this season. This Colts team is going to come up and bite a lot of people in this ass. Anthony Richardson and JT and Michael Pittman Jr. and the rest of that defense and the offense, they're going to bite a lot of people in the ass. At this point, Week 11, Aaron Rodgers is getting a little tired. The Jets are getting a little tired. They are back on the front page news, right? We are talking about them two games in a row. They are now 6-4 on the season. They might be leading the AFC East at this particular point. We don't know. But the Indianapolis Colts come in and they smack the Jets in the mouth. This is going to be a knockout, drag-out fight, and the Colts come out on top in the third quarter. It's going to be a knockout, drag-out fight the first half. Jets might get some counter punches, but come second half, the Colts are going to run the ball, and then they're going to run the ball, and then they're going to run the ball, and then they're going to run the ball some more. The Colts are going to dominate the Jets in the second half. They're going to pull away, and the Colts get this Week 11 win, giving us a Week 12 bye week. The Jets are a 500 team, more or less, going into the bye week. They're one game above 500. We've seen them at extreme lows, losses to the 49ers and Titans in a row, losses to the Steelers and Patriots in a row, and seen them at extreme high. 4-game winning streak over the Patriots, Broncos, Vikings, and Buffalo Bills, and wins over the Houston Texans and the Cardinals before going into the bye week here. Robert Saleh's seat's getting super warm at this particular point. Robert Saleh is already on the hot seat going into this season as is. It is time to put up or shut up time in New York. 7-10 is just not cutting it anymore. Woody Johnson's pissed off. Robert Saleh's pissed off. I would not be surprised at some point during this bye week in Week 12, we see some type of coaching changes in the New York Jets organization. Whether it be taking out of Nathaniel Hackett, whether it be Robert Saleh, there is going to be a coaching change come Week 12. Come Week 12, there's going to be a coaching change. Or there's going to be a lot of talk about it, right? Either way, the seat's getting hot. Collar's getting a little warm underneath there for Robert Saleh and the New York Jets. Giving us a Week 13 matchup. Week 13, Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks come into town. No more primetime games for them for the rest of the season. Finally, maybe the Jets can stop jetting and just be a normal team at this particular time, right? The Jets are finally a team like, hey, no more primetime games. Let's figure it out. And I do think they win this Week 13 matchup versus the Seattle Seahawks. When we spoke with Wayne G on Monday, when the Seahawks were playing the Patriots, right? He said it the best. We don't know how the Seahawks are going to be. New coach, defensive-minded coach, right? Geno Smith, is he still going to be outperforming what he's done the rest of his career? Can DK Metcalf finally step up and be that number one guy? Like, we don't know what the Jets are going to be, but I do think the Jets do beat them come Week 13. Dave is in the chat. He says, man, now are not a chance. They are as delusional as the Cleveland Clowns. Dave is answering the question if the New York Jets make the playoffs this season. He says, no, not a chance. James also says 2 AFC East coaches will lose their job this year. Saleh in New York and McDermott in Buffalo. That is not a hot take at all. I said it earlier, Friday, when I put the list of 6 coaches that were on hot seats. Robert Saleh and Sean McDermott were at the top. John says, when did the Jets play the Chiefs? Because they win that one. Listen, the Jets have got to make the playoffs to have a chance to play the Chiefs. They don't play them this season. But Week 14, they do play the Miami Dolphins. They travel to Miami to take on Tua and the boys. Jets at this point, nice little win over the Seahawks. Finally, 2 games above 500. They're 7-5 at this particular point. But the Miami Dolphins at home in December and earlier, they're a pretty good team. They are a pretty good team. This is a December 8th game. James, I know you're a Dolphins fan. Arthur Brown, I know you're a Dolphins fan. But if I am a Dolphins fan, I am worried on this game. I am worried on this game because there might be many records broken in this game. Tua might throw for 700 yards. Tyreek Hill might catch for 400 yards. I don't have any confidence in the Jets whatsoever going to Miami in the month of December and beating the Miami Dolphins. I just don't see it happening. You're going to hear Sauce Gardner chopping all week, and Tyreek Hill is going to make him like a two-punk little bitch. Tyreek Hill is going to run all over the New York Jets defense because they're going to be chopping. They're going to be talking. Jets lose this game, dropping them down into 7-6 on the season. James says, we hanging a 50-piece on them Jets. Buffalo's on the hot seat. Only if it's in New York. Casey says the Fins can't play in the cold. I don't think they're going deep again. Maybe 1 and out. We'll be talking about the Dolphins tomorrow, Casey. We'll be talking about them tomorrow. Week 15 matchup. Might as well just stay in Florida, right? You're playing the old mighty Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are a team that I think is going to be a terrible team. They overpaid for Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to die on that sword. I think they overpaid for him. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback or a great quarterback. Let me rephrase that. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback, and he got great quarterback money. And unfortunately, the Jags are not a great team right now. But the Jets are in a bad way right now. They just got humiliated by a division rival in the Miami Dolphins. Talk for firing Robert Saleh is getting hot. It's getting spicy. And I think they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Jets lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars in this Week 15 matchup. Jaguars are probably due for 7-8 wins, and one of them comes versus the New York Football Jets. Give us a Week 16 matchup. 2 road games have not been treating us very well. Let's get back home. Let's get back home to the cold and the wind and just being miserable in New Jersey. There's a reason why the Statue of Liberty faces the other way in New Jersey. But the Rams and Matthew Stafford come into town. This is a Rams team that people are sleeping on again, I think. This is a Rams team. Yes, they did lose Aaron Donald, but they still got Matthew Stafford. They still got a pretty prolific offense. They still got a pretty good head coach. But Rams are from LA. I don't think in LA it gets below like 65 degrees. I don't think in LA they have seen snow or rain ever. This is a late December game. This game is actually December 22nd. It's going to be cold in New Jersey. It's going to probably be raining / snowing / sleeting, whatever you guys call that crap, right? But I think the Jets pull this game out. I think we've heard a lot of talk about the Jets at this particular point about how bad they are, how bad they got embarrassed by the Dolphins, how they lost to a bad Jacksonville team. But they right the ship a little bit. They right the ship a little bit, making them 8-6 on the season. And James says you never, ever sleep on McVay and the Rams. You don't. But at this particular point in the season, the Jets are not looking over, buddy. They're not overlooking anybody because I think the AFC East is so convoluted at this point right now that every win counts. 8-6 going into Week 17 matchup on the road versus the Buffalo Bills. Speaking of snow, if you guys want to make $20 an hour, go ahead. Week 17, December 29th, go ahead and put your name on that Buffalo Bills stadium. You'll be plowing out snow. The Buffalo Bills are a team that's probably fighting for a shot at the playoffs right now too. At this point in the season, Week 17 is probably a 3-horse race in the AFC East. You got the Jets battling for a championship right there. You got the Buffalo Bills at 8 wins as well. You probably have the Miami Dolphins at 8 wins as well going into Week 17. Every win is going to count these last 3 weeks of the season, but the Jets shit the bed. The Jets shit the bed versus the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen at home, give me him 9 times out of 10 and twice on Sunday. Josh Allen is a really, really good regular season quarterback. Of course, Aaron Rodgers is a really good regular season quarterback as well, but Josh Allen just a little bit better right now in his career. John People says Josh Allen throws for 400 yards in this game. Would not shock me one bit. Bills get the dub. Give us a Week 18 matchup back at home. Feel like we just played the Miami Dolphins, but it was about a month ago at this particular point. Miami Dolphins come to New York or to New Jersey to take on the Jets in this Week 18 matchup. This game might be a winner-take-all type of situation. Now, we'll be talking about the Dolphins tomorrow. We'll see how the Dolphins are going to be at this particular point of the season. But this could be a winner-take-all type of situation. Right now, I had the Jets sitting at 8-8. 8-8. Maybe just on the outside looking in of the playoffs. It's an improvement from last season. Right? They're not 7-10 like they were the last 3 seasons. Finally getting over that extra win, getting 8 wins. And I think they finished the season with 9 wins. I think the Jets beat the Miami Dolphins at the Week 18 matchup because of the snow, because of the wind, and just the Jets are just a tad bit better. So when we look at this schedule, guys, what do you guys think? I had the Jets going 9-8 on this season with wins over the Patriots, Broncos, Vikings, Buffalo Bills, Texans, Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams, and Dolphins to end the season. 9-8. Right now, if you guys are following along, right now they are second in the AFC East, tied with the Buffalo Bills at 9-8. Wait, what do you guys think? Do you agree with this? Do you concur? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. James says about this Week 18 matchup, Dolphins versus Jets, says no. It doesn't matter. Miami Dolphins will be resting players because they clinched the division 2 weeks ago. Think so? We'll be talking to the Dolphins tomorrow. 2:30 East Coast time right here at Facebook.com and, of course, YouTube.com. Subscribe and hit that bell icon. We'll see. John says, got to go to work. Have a great day, y'all. Let me help you who goes to the wins in Super Bowl 59. It's Raiders 35, Lions 31. John must be on those halogenics or whatever you call, right? Casey says, I think it's more like 8 and 9. They lose to the Texans. So when we look at this record, this stretch right here was at week 9, 10, 11 is very, very big for the New York Jets. Let's push it back even to week 7, right? If they could beat the Patriots week 8 there, right? Lose to the Texans, lose to the Cardinals. 8 to 9 is a very, very real possibility. I think Houston is going to be good. I'm not trying to downplay the Houston Texans at all. I think they're going to be good, but Houston Texans are still a young team. They are traveling to New York on this week 9 matchup. This is a Monday Night Football game, if I'm not mistaken, on Halloween night. Everything that could go wrong will go wrong. But we can agree to disagree. That's what makes all the great shows. But guys, that's going to be it for today.